All right, it is 6 p.m., so we will begin the workshop meeting of the Dade County Board of Commissioners here at 6 p.m., February the 5th. Sorry for your parking situation tonight out here, but there's an event in the upstairs of the old courthouse, so I think the Methodist ladies are having a Galentine's event, so they got here at 5:30 and we started at 6, so anyway, that's the way it goes sometimes. Anyway, at this time, we'll have the approval of the agenda. Is there any changes or amendments to the agenda?
Nope.
All right, hearing none, we'll approve that as presented. Approval of previous meeting minutes. Those have been presented to you in advance. Any questions or amendments?
Nope.
All right, we will add those to the consent agenda for approval. The review of the personnel status report, number 3. I don't know of any major changes. I think we're still down about the same amount we've been down. Any questions about that? We had a vacancy, as you all may know, in the elections office, which is a critical position of county government, and the supervisor of elections. And it's my understanding that has been filled as of yesterday. I do not know his name. I forgot. Jason, what?
Oliver.
Jason Oliver.
Oh, fantastic.
Has been offered that position. So, and he accepted.
Okay,
So we'll be meeting him soon. And if you're an elected official, most likely you'll get some paperwork from him to fill out occasionally through the ethics. Out of
we already
Atlanta.
got that packet, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already got that, yeah.
All right. So we'll add that, the review of the personal status report, to the consent agenda for approval. Under board appointments and proclamation tonight, we have the Optimist Club, if they want to come on up, or I don't know if we got, well, that's fine, don't worry about it. So the Optimist Club, it is Optimist Day in Dade County as well as the nation. And while they are seeing who's here and whatever, I will read this. Actually, I'll just come up. Y'all come on up. This is the Trenton Dade Optimist Club members here, and so we will read a proclamation for that. Whereas Optimist Clubs and their members are dedicated to fostering optimism, leadership, and positive values among youth through mentorship and encouragement, strengthening communities by empowering young people to recognize their potential and pursue a brighter future. And whereas volunteer works with young people who are our joy of today and our hope for tomorrow, are exuberant representatives of the potential to be reached and the dreams to come true. They are also unbound in their enthusiasm to use their own talent, skills, and hard work to make a difference in others' lives. And whereas members of the Optimist International will celebrate Optimist Day throughout the world, the first Thursday of every month, to promote their efforts in helping and recognize the young people that make a difference in their communities, and will encourage a greater exchange of ideas between young people and adults. Somebody's phone's ringing. Oh, never mind, it's Jane. That's Buzz Franklin. That's Buzz Franklin calling.
Optimistic.
That's Buzz Franklin calling Jane Sale. I'll be there as soon as I can. He's the president, by the way. Whereas there are 2,500 to 2,900 local Optimist clubs worldwide and more than 87,000 members in Optimist International, and Optimist members throughout the world carry out more than 65,000 service projects annually that serve roughly 6 million young people a year. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Dade County, Georgia, to hereby proclaim February 5th, 2026 as Optimist Day in Dade County, Georgia. May this day instill pride in our county's optimists for all of their accomplishments and for the impact they make. Truly makes a difference in others' lives. So we have Dina, Abel. We've just got all kinds of optimists here. I'm not even going to hello, Dade. Well, I'm going to present you with this proclamation and allow Jane to say a very few words about this, because she's a speaker of many words.
Very few words. Thank you all. We are just glad to be in Dade County. We're glad to be residents here. We're glad to live here. And we as Optimists, we have 3 missions. One of those is the youth of our community. The second is our community itself. And the third is the betterment of ourselves by living by the Optimist Creed. So thank you all. We hope that we have done these things in our community.
Thank you. Thank you, Optimist. Pickleball clinic coming up.
There we go. I got it.
All right. So we will add that proclamation to the consent agenda for approval. Oh, yeah.
What's this?
The next one is Arbor Day. And so we have
Come back up.
some of the same folks for Arbor Day is here. So let me just get up and give them the Arbor Day proclamation. Who is that? Jane, and who else? Arbor Day is the 3rd Friday of February. Arbor Day is a day set aside for schools, civic clubs, and other organizations, as well as individuals, to reflect the importance of trees in our state across our nation. J. Sterling Morton, the father of Arbor Day, initiated the holiday in Nebraska in 1872. He said, "Other holidays repose upon the past. Arbor Day purposes for the future." Whereas the first Georgia Arbor Day was proclaimed by the Georgia General Assembly in December 1890. In 1941, the General Assembly set the 3rd Friday in February as the date of our state Arbor Day, while National Arbor Day is the 3rd Friday in April. It is too warm at that time, right, at that time of year, to plant trees in Georgia. Trees should be planted between November and mid-March, so they have a better chance of becoming established before the onset of summer heat. That was a long whereas. Whereas every tree planted on Arbor Day helps clean the air and water, beautify neighborhoods, provide homes for wildlife, conserve energy, and prevent soil erosion, among many other benefits. Arbor Day gives everyone an opportunity to learn about trees and the environmental, social, economic, and health benefits they provide to communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the Board of Commissioners of Dade County, Georgia, do hereby proclaim February 20th, 2026 as Arbor Day in Dade County, and furthermore request all citizens to plant a tree on this day. So, Madam Jane,
Thank you, darling.
and a few words about Arbor Day.
Few.
Very few.
We will be celebrating in Dade County. Don says I always drag it out. Well, yes, instead of just one day, we will be celebrating a week. So you will be hearing about this week. We will be giving away free tree seedlings over at Mostetter's Wrecker Service. It's a drive-through. You just drive through, take a tree seedling, and take it home and plant it. Laura Beth is going to be doing this educational part of this. She will be reading a book, and she will be giving away tree seedlings to all the children that she reads to in the public schools. That would be at Dade and Davis in the elementary schools, and at the library. So know that we are trying to be very active in this community to educate, to plant trees, and to take care of the trees that we plant. So that's what we're doing. And the other board members, myself and Laura Beth, Sandy White, Carrie Anderson, Bobby Dunn, and Renee Frank, and they could not be here tonight. Each of them had something that they had to be at other than here. So thank you all for this, and thank you all for everything that you'll be doing for us the week of April the 15th through the 21st. We hope you get really saturated with Tree City and what we're doing. And I must say, the city of Trenton has done tremendous things for Tree City, so we do appreciate that. So has Dade County, and we could not do any of that without both of these group government agencies. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. We'll add that to the Consent agenda for approval. A proclamation for Severe Weather Preparedness Week 2026. This is an important week to begin thinking about thunderstorms, flash floods, hailstorms, unfortunately tornadoes, and significantly other things that risk the lives and health and property. That would be the week of February 2nd through the 6th. And so as Severe Weather Preparedness Week. And I know that they recognize that over at the school system and take that very serious with the different getting in the hallway and testing out, making sure they know how to get down and get their heads protected and such in case there's a drill, a tornado drill. So we will add that to the consent agenda as well. Proclamation for American Heart Month is February, the entire month. And then Dade County also, like many other places, recognize tomorrow, February 6th, as Go Red. So if you wear red tomorrow, you're just honoring the American Heart Association and the American Heart Month. So we can add that to the consent agenda for approval. Proclamation for recognition of the National Future Farmers of America Week, February 21st through the 28th. And that is mostly celebrated here at the high school, I believe. And so, again, that's the week of 21st through the 28th, FFA. So I don't know if y'all are members of that. Great organization. And those are the proclamations added tonight. Now we'll get into some resolutions. Resolution R-07-26 is an appointment of a member to the Special Use Permit Board. There is a vacancy in District 5, and that we recommend Clifton Reeser to that board. I know of Clifton. I don't know him personally, but Bill knows them, Commissioner Bill. So do you want to say anything on Clifton's behalf? Or?
Well, he's a Dade County product. He's a Georgia boy. He's very family oriented. He graduated of UGA Terry School of Business. He's had experience in the construction business and developments. He worked for a home company in Charlotte, and he is a business owner, a business manager. He in Dade County, the roof curb systems and roof curb fabrication. He's got an ag background, and he's in the cattle business, so he knows kind of both ends of a lot of things. He's for improving farmland and conservation and things like that. So I think he would be a good person.
When I read his bio, I was amazed, and no doubt that I want him on there. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This is for a 4-year appointment to the Special Use Board. And I think after this appointment, we'll finally have that board filled again. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Melissa's going to bring that up in a little bit about some maybe training. Any questions about that appointment?
Yeah, they may not be happy with me.
Okay, we'll add him to the consent agenda for approval. Resolution R-08-26 is reappointment of a member to the Department of Family and Children Services Board. That is Kathy Reagan. Kathy, formerly in her past, served as director of the DFACS in Dade County, so she's very much aware of how that board operates. These are 5-year appointments, and she has served faithfully. I don't think she's missed any meetings. Any questions on her appointment?
No, she even helped me out with a concern I had the other day as well, so I
Okay.
definitely support it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we will add Kathy to her reappointment to that board for a 5-year term, beginning 4/1/26 and expiring 3/31/2031. I always find it amazing to say 31. All right. Resolution R-09-26, appointment of a member to the Trenton Dade Advisory Board. So what this is the appointment of members at this point to the Trenton Dade Animal Center Advisory Board. This was appointed. This was recently passed in an ordinance I mean, not too long ago. I can't recall, maybe 3 months ago. And so we've been meeting in another group called TDAC, that's Trenton Dade Animal Center, and it's been serving in such an advisory capacity, I think. Bob and Melissa both serve on that committee, and the city commissioners also serve on that committee. And so we took these names before the committee, and they're very pleased with this. Really, resolutions 09, 10, 11, and 12 all really are pertaining to this board because it is a brand new board. They will have staggered terms, and 2 of the members have 4-year terms. One member will have a 3-year term, and then 1 member will have a 2-year term. And then the city will appoint 3 members as well. We can take them individually or just talk to, the 4 people, is Ann Brown, Amy Garrett, and Jimmy Stewart. And then, I gotta say this right, Debbie Tringali. Spelled Tringle, but anyway, it's Tringali. Is Ann here tonight?
Yes.
Did I say her name right, Tringali? Okay, right. Said it right and wrong, right? And so this board has been created in order to provide information about policy, procedures, as well as any recommendations about capital outlay or increases in the future. I mean, we are in the process of creating and establishing the animal center, but this could go, I mean, these are 4, 5, 6 years down the road that, you know, they may have future needs, and that's what this board is. It's basically residents from the city and in the county. Are there any questions about any of these members?
Ann Brown's been working in support of all this kind of stuff for decades, you know, so there's no doubt about that. I've known Amy Garrett. She loves animals. Oh my God, she loves animals more than she loves her husband Will. You know what I mean? There's no doubt about that. And I'll probably hear from Will on that comment later.
And it shows.
And it shows.
I just met Jimmy Stewart during my dealings with the TDAC, but he's a fine gentleman, right? Works very hard and diligently for animals. I think he'd be good, but I don't know Miss Debbie though. I can't speak on her. Maybe someone else can.
Ann, could you say anything about Debbie?
Well, I've known her for years. She has her own, she trains dogs. She has a home out on lookout now. She lives close to Melissa, I understand.
Okay.
I work with her on several other things, and I think she's would be a good fit.
Okay.
Melissa, you may know, you know.
Yeah, I know she's in the community quite a bit and
Okay.
has worked a long time with animals and been in different situations. So I think she's a great fit.
I agree.
So, Rick,
I think the main thing that these people have in common is we all have a heart for animals. And it's not a bleeding heart, it's a heart to, I can talk loud enough, Melissa, believe me.
Well, we can't hear you.
I think it's a heart that wants to save and take care of animals and do the right thing.
okay. So, Ann is, we've asked her to serve the initial term for a 4-year term. Amy Garrett, a 4-year term. And by the way, Ann is Resolution R-09. Resolution R-1026 is Amy. Resolution R-1126 is Jimmy Stewart for a 3-year term. And then Debbie Tringali for a 2-year term initially. And of course, after those terms expire, they may re-up for a full 4-year term if they so choose to want to be reappointed. Any questions?
No, good deal.
All 4 of them live in the county.
Yes, all
Yes.
4 do live in the county. I didn't know about Miss
Yeah, she's
Tringali.
on
But she's
lookout.
on lookout.
Yeah.
Next to me, okay. Any other questions?
That's it.
All right, we'll add those to the consent agenda for approval. See, we're getting through this pretty quick. All right, number 5 on the agenda is approval of SPOS capital equipment, and this is where we're going to talk about the construction of the elections building. We have Robert Roberts here representing his company, Robert Roberts LLC. Robert, if you want to come forward over here to the mic, I guess, and then walk us through. That'd be great. Thank you.
So, as you already stated, my name is Robert Roberts. I am the founder, president, head bottle washer, I guess, for Robert Roberts LLC. So, we constructed this presentation after our initial meeting. Just to recap just a little, we quoted the project back several months ago. Our bid came in at just over $3 million. We were $3,048,000. And so we were tasked with value engineering. We needed to cut costs, but maintain the integrity of the building, provide what the county needed. So there were several ideas, and there's still a few ideas that are pending on our value engineering list, but one of the largest ideas was to cut the building in half. It was a 12,000 two-story building, 12,000 square feet, 2 stories, and so we just cut it right in half and made it a 1-story building. We did some moving around in conjunction with officials and the architect on the interior. There were some things on the ground floor that needed to make space for on the first floor. Went through some certain particulars and came up with a design from Method Architecture that we then set out for rebidding. At the time, I presented to the council, and I forget the date, but it's been a couple of months ago. I said that I thought by cutting the building in half, you don't necessarily cut the price in half because you still have foundations and you still have, some basic things, and you're keeping the most expensive part. But I felt confident that you could at least cut $1 million out of it, and that was kind of our goal. We wanted to cut at least $1 million. And as usual, I was off on my numbers. So we actually cut $1,258,000. So we cut I was a little bit 25% more than what I thought we would actually save. So the original price at $3,048,000 is now $1,790,000. So we actually got under. I was thinking 1.8 would be great, and we actually were able to get under the 1.8 number. And then there are still a few more value engineering ideas that'll take that down a little further. So I think the next slide is some just self-congratulation stuff and thank you for the project. And then the next slide. So these are things, so I have a set of blueprints that we have bid that will be our contract documents. So the contract consists of the physical contract with all the wording and the insurance and so on and so forth, but then also the blueprints and the specifications. Since we have changed the blueprints, those revised ones will be our contract documents. These are things that are included in our price that are different than what's on the contract. So I want to make very clear, there are some things that are still pending, that we value engineering, but included in our price are the things that are on the plans, but we've changed. One is, since we made it a 1-story building and we moved it up, we didn't need the rear parking. You still had a drive. The civil engineer left a drive all the way around the back. So we said, hey, there's no need for that. Why don't you take that drive around the back? In fact, that's where we want to put our condensing units for air conditioners. You don't need, cars going all the way around the building. It's a waste of money, and everybody agreed, so we did that. Also, the sewer line, originally, since it was a 2-story building, the sewer line was running out the back and running towards the rear. They reoriented the sewer line to run it around the back, but they didn't change the way it was coming out of the building. They left it that way, and so we called the engineers and said, hey, it doesn't make sense for you to come out and run all the way around the building. Why don't you just go right through the building underneath, which is it's less expensive to run plumbing inside a building than outside of a building, and you can catch both the bathrooms and come straight out. So those two things are noted on that slide there. Those are the two things that we have included in this price that are a little bit different than what the contract drawings will say. The next slide, and I think everybody has a handout to this, on the left, and I know it's hard, I didn't know how big the screen would be, but on the left side is the budget estimate. That is a line-by-line total for every single thing that we have included in the estimate, and then the total at the bottom of $1,790,000. And then on the right side, and the numbers correspond with one another, are clarifications. So for each line item that we have a number for, we have a clarification of what it, just a sentence or two of what it includes and what it doesn't include, or what, may be included, so on and so forth. So as you go down there, we are very specific with what we have done. And we were able also to increase our local footprint. I think all of our MEPs now are local subsidies. That was a big ask from the city. We wanted to make sure we get as much local participation as we can. We did that. And I think the final slide is just a thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Nope.
So this is the value engineering, yeah. So there were some things that are, included, not included, so on and so forth. So there's still $10,000 that's in there that we had in there for, what we call, spoil removal. So when we dig footings, we have dirt. A lot of times we have to haul that off because there's no place to put it. But you guys got a great site. And we said, hey, we got money for spoils. Can we put it on your site and save the money? Absolutely. There was also some savings if we changed some storefront. We offered some savings if you didn't want a bond. He said, no, that's not right. And then we actually ran a cost comparison on the roof structure. So there were a couple things that do drive up the cost of the building. One is you want security, obviously, right? Brick. We have a vault in there where the ballots are going to be. It's a block room in there. There's a masonry room in there where you actually house the. So security is a big deal. And also moisture control is a big deal. So the HVAC, you don't want a bunch of ballots getting mold and, or any kind of moisture problems, especially if you're using machines. So the HVAC system is, upgraded for that, to control those types of things. And then there were some things that we offered, and then on the roof, we actually did some comparisons because it is a very high-end roof. Probably the only way you could get a better roof is if you went to slate. Concrete, this is a standing seam metal roof, which is mechanically seamed. It's not a snap lock seam. It's a mechanically seamed, which means they have to bring a machine out there and make these things bind together. They don't snap together. That's what the metals do. And then underneath that is the insulation, a rigid insulation board that sits on top of the roof. There's not insulation underneath in the building, so you don't have any light flying around. It's actually on top of the roof, which what that does is it brings your building envelope to the outside of the building, which is where it should be. You have outside insulation behind the brick. You have insulation on top of the roof that brings all your building envelope to the exterior. It is a little bit more costly to do it that way, but that roof will be there long, probably after my children are gone. It is as good a roof as you can get without going to slate. And probably the next step down, you would get to membranes and shingle roofs, which at best you're looking at 20 to 30 years. This thing's got at least 50, more like 75, maybe 100 years on it. So the roof is a top-notch roof, and we ran some possibles. You could save money, but everybody's like, nah, we don't want leaks, especially when you're dealing with ballots and stuff like that. Last thing you want is a storm the day before voting day, and all of a sudden you got water dripping on a machine. That's no bueno. So the only thing that we left to have out there is we have an alternate maybe for the storefront, a little bit of money for maybe the spoil wasting, and then there may be some opportunities. I was just talking before the meeting about the location of the transformer, some other particulars. But by and large, we are right under $1.8 million from $3,048,000, and we have provided what I think is pretty much we've held design integrity for an elections building, right? So what you've lost is the 6,000 event space, basically, that was on the first floor. You had kind of this big, wide open, 6,000 square foot, wonderful space, kind of like this, wide open space with bathrooms and all that, and that's what you gave up. But you still have a great elections building. Questions?
Hey, Just go around the table, I guess. This is pretty important.
No, I appreciate, because, honestly, when a contractor says, well, we're gonna go back and value engineering, that just sounds like a buzzword, but you did a lot of reductions here, right? Mm-hmm. And I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm excited, and the places we needed to make sure it was secure, you guys did that and helped work with us, and I think it's coming along quite nice.
thank you for your work.
Sure.
I appreciate it. Of course, we'd always liked it if it'd been less, but
Of course.
don't give up yet, because
Well, we're not. The value engineering is kind of a living thing. Whenever we come up
Yeah.
on stuff, in fact, we were having discussions before the meeting about pre-wiring versus this, like, hey, if there's an opportunity, like, that's what we pride ourselves on doing.
And we appreciate it, that's what I was saying, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's why we stay busy.
I'm good. I don't have any questions.
Okay. We appreciate your work, appreciate Alex also helping with this a lot. He's back in the back. And Alex, you have anything to add, or is it, while he's coming, he talked a lot about the roof. You know.
I think all parties, after this, sorry.
Go ahead.
I think with all parties, with Robert Roberts, each one of y'all, the elections board and everything we done when we had that big meeting at the historical courthouse, and a lot of the things that we're doing internally will help continue to, there's still a lot of value things that we can take care of, like what he was talking about, so I appreciate the opportunity to help work with this with y'all and to work with Robert Roberts as we move forward.
Thank you, Alex.
So if there's no other discussion, the estimate right now is at, did you say 1,790,911? Could possibly shave off another 67.8, but we authorize the $1,790,911 with the idea of anywhere else you can find, that'd be awesome. And for this agreement, and then you will get together the agreement and present that for us for execution. He will be providing a P&P bond on the project, builder's risk insurance, and so those things are included in this price currently. We checked, it's the same exact price for the county to provide it in their name and whatever, so, but anyway, it's good insurance, so. All right, any questions?
The only thing I'd like to note is, we don't want the public to think that's the final price on this project.
No, I mean, we've done a lot of,
They need to understand that that's for the building. We still
That-
have furnishings, we still have stuff inside that we have
that's
to
right.
do.
No, that's right.
Parking lot, I'm assuming we're paving the parking
Yeah,
lot of it.
Yeah,
So they need to understand that, because I don't want them to come back when it's 2.2 million, because we had to put furnishings in the
Right.
parking lot in it.
that
well,
is
to
a
be
great,
totally,
great
we
point.
got 100,000 in the building, I mean, in the land, and we had about 100,000 up to when we redid the
Right,
Dirt.
hauling,
Back and forth.
hauling dirt back and forth, so
Right.
that's all in there too.
right. Public Works, Billy Massengale worked some of the coldest early part of the weather we had this year. About lost his fingers a couple of times on that because it was so cold on that bulldozer, but they did an absolutely fabulous job, and we appreciate Billy and his guys working on that. They did haul a lot of dirt. If you saw the dump trucks in Trenton, I guess pretty much the month of October and November, running back and forth, that's what that was, and so, what they were doing. And so, but they shot at the land over there, and it's very, I mean, within inches, so it's very close, it's ready to go. So you're correct though, Philip, I appreciate you bringing that up. All right, we'll add that to consent agenda for approval. We have Henderson, Hutcherson, and McCullough. If y'all will come on up, introduce yourselves. And this is our certified public accountants out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, that performed our fiscal year 2025 annual audit and produced the financial statement for period ending June 30th, 2025. Introduce yourself, please.
Yes, I'm Garrett Williams, and this is Josh Shoemaker, helped me run the audit this year. Just want to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to come out here. We always enjoy it. It's a good group of people to work with. We're happy to be of service. There's certain required communications, and we'll kind of give a brief overview of how the audit went. And then I'll kick it off to Josh to get us started.
Yeah, like Garrett said, we appreciate the cooperation of Rebecca and the finance team. So what I'll do, I know your time is valuable, and so we'll leave some time for questions at the end for specific questions that commissioners may have. But I'll go over at a high level, kind of what we did and what the results were. So first of all, the scope of our services I'll discuss real quick, and then the results of those services. And then Garrett will go over some of the required communications that essentially as auditors at the end of an audit, we're required to correspond with the governance, which would be y'all. And then lastly, Garrett will go over some financial highlights and then some questions. So at a high level, what myself and the audit team did were two separate audits that are related and compile into the report that you have on your table. The first one is the financial statement audit, which is probably what would be most familiar to all of you as you track the county's financial performance year to year, and I'm sure even on a month-to-month basis. So that is where the bulk of the work was spent, but because y'all expended over $750,000 of federal funds in fiscal year 25, that also triggered a single audit, which is an audit of federal funds. Now, some of those were passed through the state of Georgia. I think a lot of them are typically, but they originate at the federal government level. And I believe the majority of that federal funding was the result of the stimulus money that would have been granted back in 2020, 2021. That has until the end of 26 to be spent, and I think y'all spent most of it this past year. So at again, a higher level, what is an audit? You can see right there, I'm not just going to read to you, but basically what we do is provide reasonable assurance that the county's financial statements are free from fraud or error. So reasonable assurance that what you're looking at, that what's on the table in front of you is what we say materially correct. So of course there could be real small numbers that could be switched around or anything like that, but what we do is take the financial statements that are given to us and just assess those in a lot of different ways, and you're free to ask questions about what we do to make sure that they are materially correct. So that is a financial statement audit. A single audit in a very similar way. We are required, the federal government issues a very large document each year that tells us how to audit each of the programs, and so we audited like I said, the coronavirus CSLSRF, which is the state and local fiscal recovery funds. And I believe the majority of that was spent on fire apparatus for the year. But any expenditure that would have come out of that fund, we did an audit over. And the major part of that was just to make sure that it was a cost that you incurred that was allowable under the grant. So the federal government, when they grant it to you, they says you have to spend it in this manner. We just check for the federal government to ensure that that was done. So the major risks that we identified are, and this is something we look at every audit, because especially for a government, these are going to be your biggest areas on the financial statement. So the first one is the internal control framework. We don't audit internal controls, but we do a very good understanding and assessment and walkthrough of those internal controls. And if we identify weaknesses, we will communicate those to you. And that's something that Garrett's going to go over in just a minute. Second would be capital assets. Because you are a government, capital assets make up a very large portion of your balance sheet. That's going to be infrastructure and then the part of the fire equipment that we discussed just a second ago. Revenue recognition, you're funded by tax revenue and primarily tax revenue and grants. So we do a pretty thorough job of looking at all of that to make sure that what the financial statements say you received was actually received. And finally, grant compliance. I won't go into a lot more detail on that because we just discussed it, but that would be the single audit. So on to the results. For your financial statement audit, our opinion was unmodified. And so that means it's the highest level of assurance. We did not find anything that would require us to change our opinion. In other words, in simpler words, it's a clean opinion. And our report on internal controls, again, Gary will go over the required communications, but we did not identify any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in your internal control. And so essentially it means you have a strong internal control framework within the finance department. The results of the single audit, that would be the program that we tested. 21.027 is the federal government's reference number, but it is essentially the COVID stimulus, or one of the COVID stimulus packages that was passed. Again, our opinion was unmodified, and we also have to assess internal controls for the federal reporting separately, and we did not find any weaknesses or deficiencies in that area as well. And with that, I'll let Garrett go over the required communications and any questions you may have.
Hi. So, changes in accounting policies. All your accounting policies are outlined in the note 1, in the notes, the financials. There's a lot going on there. Most of it's the same from last year. The only 2 changes were related to new accounting pronouncements, GASB 101 and 102. These did not have any significant impact on the financials, but we did address that they were new for this year. We weren't aware with any consultations with any other accountants during our audit. There was no fraud or significant matters that came up during the audit, so that's always good. We didn't have any issues with management or staff that we worked with during the audit. There were no other findings to report. Accounting estimates, we always look and evaluate management's estimates during our audit. These all appeared reasonable. We had no issues with these. And we really did not have any uncorrected misstatements made during the audit. So those are all good things. Next slide's just looking at the general fund budget, taxable. Since the general fund is the operational budget fund for the county, we just kind of like to look at it, look how budget numbers compared to actual. And something you note, actual revenues were higher than final budget, which is something we always like to see. And then total expenditures came in under final budget numbers as well, which is always good. And this kind of leads to the fund balance having a positive change, year over year. I think it's had a positive change for the last several years, as far as I can remember. So the departments are doing well with creating the budgets and staying within the budgets and benefiting the county in that regards. The next slide, we kind of just like to look at the fund balance in the general fund. I've got the total fund balance there, and then the unassigned, there's a portion of the fund balance that's kind of restricted for certain items that aren't really available to use. And then we look at that unassigned fund balance and kind of compare it to total expenditures for the year just to see how strong a fund balance the county has. In this case, you have about, if you were to look at it as how long in months your fund balance could fund the county, you had roughly about 3 months worth of funds available if you had no other sources of money coming in. So it's about where you'd want to see it. It's not excessively high, and it's not, concerning low, so it's in a good spot. And then I think we're open for questions. If anybody has questions about the audit or what we did.
We've strived to have a fund balance of about 33%. I didn't catch that percentage. Was it like 25, 26%?
26.
Yeah, 26%. So, I mean, we've been headed in the right direction for years. It's taken a long time to get there. It's been growing very slowly. Some years it barely grew at all. This looks like a better year, thank goodness. But anyway, I'm happy to see that. I mean, that's our equity, basically like our equity in the government.
I got a question.
Yes.
Just so I sleep well at night. All right, gentlemen, you've been here before, right? But you're looking me in the eye and saying that you come here and you scrutinize the hell out of this every year, right? It's not because you get our business every year, right? You know where I'm going with this question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I mean, you're telling me that every time you come here and you really drill down on all this stuff every year.
Yes, and we have, part of the audit is we have to evaluate our independence, and that's part of that, like you're saying. A piece of that is we changed the team from year to year.
Okay.
Last year I was heavily involved in this engagement. This year Josh was new to the team, and he helped run the engagement with we may have had another individuals new, but we like to bring in new eyes.
And I'm all for
May
that.
ask
I
new
think that's a good thing, and
questions.
that answers my question right there. So it's not just the same bubbles coming back in.
No.
You'll also notice on the first page or the first slide that the engagement partner who's responsible for overseeing and essentially our firm is the one in charge of the whole team, that partner has changed as well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Can you just go into, so we were at the 7 something, and which made you look at the federal funds?
750,000.
Yeah, so can you explain that a little bit? So what is the like, where would we have been, what's the number that wouldn't flag that?
So, well, basically, that number just changed. It's now at $1 million. And so it's for next year. So it's pretty unlikely, given your history of federal funds, that you would have one.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, that Rebecca would be able to tell you specifically where you are right now. But most of your single audit was triggered because of the COVID funding that you spent down. And my understanding is that's more or less spent up at this point. And so unless you get a very large federal grant, and it's not the grant you receive necessarily, it's what you spend in the year.
Yes.
If you spend over $1 million, it's very likely you will have one. But I don't believe you have been that high in the past.
Yeah, I was just curious, because I know that that's come out in a lot of places
Yes.
in Georgia, so I was curious of how that was actually triggered.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of extra money being pumped out
Yes.
into local governments. So we've had a lot more, we've seen a lot more local governments have these single audits because of
Okay.
the excess funding that's coming to them.
And I'll add that we've seen them go a lot worse.
Yeah. Well, I
especially for
have two on
governments.
the news, so
Yeah,
I was
that
just,
aren't prepared to handle the single audit and don't necessarily have the policies and procedures. And so we're very happy that we didn't find any issues.
yeah. That's
And
great.
I wanted to say one thing.
Sure.
And even in the years that they don't have a single audit, and you can tell me this is, they still look at grant revenues, grant
Yes.
expenses as part of the normal financial statement audit, because that's all still part of our financial statement. So even though they take a deeper look into a single audit, but they still will review
Yeah,
and look
well,
at
yeah.
those grants during just a normal audit as well.
Yeah.
So basically, the federal government gives us a 2,800-page stack of rules, depending on which grant you received. If it's over that threshold, we'll use that stack of rules to assess it in addition to our audit procedures.
Okay.
If not, it'll be our regular audit procedures.
Yeah, okay. Well, I knew you audited the grants, but I was just kind of curious about that one.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So mine's a specific question. So y'all printed this off for us, correct?
Yes.
All right. So on page 55, section, or note 12, it talks about splosh, and the new splosh beginning in 2021, 24 calendar quarters or until 16 million is exceeded.
We
Was that a,
We just corrected that.
Okay.
Actually, yes.
It was after we had mailed out your bound copies.
Yeah,
But
unfortunately.
in the issued final, it
I know it's
changed.
different here. I just
Yeah.
went from here to here, it's different, and that's, okay.
There was a 2 or 3 week processing time to get those done, and that was something we corrected afterwards.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Well, Garrett Williams, I met him about, 3 or 4 years ago? I don't know. Maybe longer, who knows? You had a little baby at one time, he's now maybe how old's your babies?
Yeah, I've got 6 now.
Okay, well, maybe it's been 5 or 6 years, so Garrett has
Yeah, it was
been,
right when I came on, you
Yeah.
had stepped up.
Yeah.
Garrett's been there a long time, and of course, I don't know if y'all recall, Ladale McCullough, she was one of my favorites over the years. She's a partner, and her name's still in the title of the company, but they've done us very well over the years. We left them one time, and boy, did we pay the price on that, and ended up still having to hire them back to come back and straighten out the audit. So I appreciate their efforts. Rebecca works well with them. Rebecca actually worked for HHM once upon a time. I'd like to admit that I stole her from HHM, but really she had left already, so I don't feel guilty about them coming and stealing her, but she knows, we're very fortunate to have Rebecca. because as a certified public accountant, not only that, CPA, she knows a lot about governmental accounting, and she knows how to talk turkey with the auditors. I call them the auditors, they're really just, they're CPAs. I mean, they do a function for county government. And it's always amazing to me, every year we'll have one or two, especially online folks, that come up and say, well, I just don't understand why that county doesn't do an audit. Well, we have to do an audit by law every year, and we've been doing one since 18 something. I don't know what it was, but about 4 or 5 years ago, found the box of old audits. I mean, they go way, 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 way back into the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And so we've been doing an audit for many years. We appreciate their efforts. And just got to know Josh this year. I was expecting Garrett, but never did see him. I thought, what did they do with Garrett? But anyway, they're actually out of the Cleveland office, though, Cleveland, Tennessee office. And but we appreciate y'all. And if there's no other questions, all we do tonight is just acknowledge this into our minutes. But I always think it's important for it to bring y'all before the people and let you present your findings. So I'm happy to see no findings.
And I'll add one more thing to that, because you
Yeah.
brought it up. Y'all are very fortunate to have her in the accounting function, because we do work with a lot of local governments who aren't able to acquire skilled accounting people, and it shows in the work. We have to go in and we have to do a lot of cleanup, and we have to make a lot of adjustments and answer a lot of questions because they just don't quite get it. So it is nice to come out and deal with people who have the expertise and the experience. It makes our jobs easier, and it definitely benefits the county, so.
Yep, you're right. Well,
Definitely
thank y'all
Re-
very much.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Appreciate y'all.
She's a keeper, right?
So we'll
Absolutely.
add that to consent agenda
a hard
just
worker.
to show in the minutes. I'm gonna add that just to, as an acknowledgement in the minutes. The next is the Larry Walker. Did Larry make it tonight? No, all right. Larry Walker, one of these days, we're gonna get Larry here. He's got some sickness in his family, so I think that may be the
He
reason.
just acknowledged yesterday that he was gonna make it, so.
Yeah, okay. He's over the senior center programs there with the Dade Nutrition Site Manager and such, so we'll have him here sooner or later. Just want to really introduce y'all to him, and so especially if you are a senior citizen, you become familiar with his face, and maybe will feel very welcome to attend any of the programs. If you're if you're 55 or older, you can show up. I mean, hey, I even made it last year. So anyway, but 65 typically is the age they kind of use as their threshold, I think. Is that right, Penny? And so anyway, we'll have Larry back. I'm sorry, what?
60.
60, sorry about that, yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to number 8, Resolution R-13-26. We have disposal of some surplus county property. I think tonight we have a 2006 Ford Ecoline van. I've got Tommy listed here, but I think what it is, it's the old transport van, is that correct? And so we did purchase a new van last month. So as promised, they have declared this one surplus property, and we'll be removing it, and we'll be selling that on Gov Deals. Billy has maybe one other thing, but we're not ready to put that on there quite yet, so we'll postpone that for another night. But anyway, 2006 Ford Ecoline van, if you're interested, has 173,000 miles on it, but the title is clean, so if you're interested in that, go on Gov Deals in the next few days, and we'll have that out there.
Okay, Don.
Yes.
Tommy, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the person out in the sheriff's department told y'all had already used the new van, and one day y'all hauled 13 clients. Yeah, and that was a record. That was a good day. Yeah, okay.
Patrons.
Any questions on that?
Clients?
Clients, yeah, okay. All right, hearing none, we'll add that to the consent agenda for approval. Number 9, Resolution R-14, 26. Penny,
Have to put that in the minutes.
come on up for a second. This is Verdia, I don't know how you say it, Inc., and it's through the Department of Human Services, Region 1. It is our 2026 Transportation Service contract that has been formally held by Transit Alliance Group. And Transit Alliance Group, she just recently retired, so she closed her company down, I understand.
Right.
So Penny, tell us the connection between this and public transportation.
They represent DHS. We turn in our trips to DHS. They pay Verida. Verida pays us.
Okay,
They took the place of Transit Alliance Group.
okay. So basically, if you're 60 or older, you qualify for free, almost free, or greatly
Right.
reduced, if not free, trips on the
If you
public
are a
transportation.
member, you don't have to pay anything
Okay,
at the senior center. Otherwise, up to 65, you pay to ride.
okay. So as a member through Verida, is that how you say it? Verida? They pay the county back through a DHS grant, and I don't have the actual amount of that. I mean,
$18 a trip.
$18 a trip. All right, so, all right. Any questions on that? This is a grant that we apply for every year, and it's just a new company. And they've jumped through, believe me, they've jumped through all the state hoops, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through, which
Yeah.
comes with a lot of training too, but anyway. Thankfully, they pay for the training. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll add that to consent agenda for approval. Thank you, Penny. Number 10 is the Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax, commonly referred to as SPLOST. This is an intergovernmental agreement between the county, the city of Trenton, the Industrial Development Authority, and the Water and Sewer Authority. Looking around the room, we have members, I think, of all those different boards represented and/or governments. And so this is a requirement of the state of Georgia. If you are considering a SPLOST, adding a SPLOST referendum to a general election, general primary or general election, then if we include this entity and/or authorities, then we qualify for the additional 12 months. The only other way to do that would be if we had like a tier 1 project, meaning like you're building a jail or a courthouse or something. There are ways around it, but we don't have, to my knowledge, any kind of tier 1 projects listed separately on the SPLOST proposal. And so what that is, each board takes a look at this and considers this agreement and either agrees or disagrees with it. But we have offered at this point $1.9 million in the next SPLOST for the Industrial Development Authority, $1.9 million for the Water and Sewer Authority, and that is up from $1.2 million. And so that's additional $700,000. As far as the city, they're not up exactly $700,000, but it's very close. Did that math? I hope I did that math correctly this afternoon. I calculated it at $692,500, which would be almost $700,000 as well for the city. And so that's based off of proposed collections of $23 million SPLOST, and we took a look at the math on that. We ran that through Raymond James. Raymond James is an investment banking firm that we've traditionally used out of Atlanta, and they've always provided the service. At this point has been free to us. There is a bond issue. It's always listed in there, but that bond is only issued in case of an emergency, meaning like if we had tornadoes again and financing or funding was limited, We could use that if it was in perhaps the first 3, maybe 4 years of a a new SPOS collection period. If it's past that timeline, it's really not worth that because you'd have to pay almost 100% of your proceeds out to pay the bonds off. We've been fortunate, the current SPOS, not to have bond anything, and we've saved about 17 to 20% due to the interest we did not have to pay, nor the cost of issuance. Now, of course, bond attorneys and Gray Pinnell out of Savannah also took a look at this for us, and they typically do those kind of things as a courtesy. But if we do bond, then we would use Gray Pinnell to issue the bonds. Now, there's a series of things that has to happen, and Robin, you want to talk about that? Or maybe I'm getting out of the scope of this one. I don't know. IGA. Follow up.
Yeah, so this is a typical intergovernmental agreement where each of the entities kind of lay out the amounts that each of the governmental entities are to receive, as well as the projects are described there about what they're going for. And so, Don, I don't know if you want to speak more about the bond issuance or not, but what we typically, from a lesson learned, I think back in 2011, 2010,
Yeah.
that we need to have that provision in there, even if we don't intend to use it. So that's why we include it, even though we're not necessarily intending to
Right.
bond any money on this. We're very fortunate. We've used Gray and Pinnell for a long time, and they do this kind of as a courtesy for us to review that.
And so in 2006, we estimated a $18 million collection. And what happened, because we had seen several years of a very modest growth rate and was very confident in that 18 million. Of course, in 2007, the Shaw plant closed. 2008, there was a national recession. And then 2009, 10, and 11, it really hit here. 2011, we had tornadoes hit. 2013, we had a major flood. 2015, we had a major flood. And so at the time, emergency repairs were not included in SPLOST. If it were capital purchases, we could use it. But since then, I don't know if you recall a few years ago, over at the high school, the Governor Deal, I believe it was Deal, came up and signed a bill authorizing under emergency powers when there's a declared emergency by the governor and or the president of the United States, then there's that provision in here that if you have bonded funds, you could use those funds at that time. And so we're in a much better financial shape today, believe me, than we were back then. But anything is always possible, and it's good to have that as an insurance policy. Of course, if a building were to burn or something, we have insurance. But you also have to realize if there's any kind of strange circumstances, the insurance company might hold up immediate funding, and therefore the government's got to continue on depending on if it was the courthouse or the jail or this building or whatever. And so we at least have this as an opportunity to do that. Now, that's just the bonding side I'm talking about. It is included in the intergovernmental agreement. If approved by the referendum of the people. If the people don't approve it in May, then the IGA is dead or ceases, voided is a better word. And it would that would be the case. Again, the city is scheduled to collect, what did I say, $3,745,000, and that's an approximate value. And if we collect more than 23 million, the county would share those proceeds at the approved rate, and it's 16.28% of the available proceeds collected. And so all that is spelled out in the intergovernmental agreement. I could go on all that, not long about it. Y'all have any other questions?
So my question, are we voting, or if we put this on the agenda, are we agreeing to this agreement?
We are agreeing to
All
this
right.
agreement.
So I got this Tuesday. I would like to discuss this, and y'all think about it. I'm trying to get a new way of thinking. We're offering the IDA 1.9 million. We're offering the Water Authority 1.9 million.
Correct.
Two projects sitting right here for the Water Authority, $180 per foot to run new water line. This one project was 1 million, the other one's 525,000. That's two projects. I've got two projects here that's 2 million and 3 million.
Right.
I propose that we give 2.5 million to the water company, 1.3 to the IDA. My reasoning is, last year we was at a 3.3% unemployment rate. That's pretty good. I don't think we can get it a whole lot lower than that. I think we need to turn our focus on the water authority and getting infrastructure. If they do not want to go out for the grants or try to leverage this money to get more money to put in more lines, we don't have to approve it from them to buy stuff that is not water line related.
You know, quite a while ago, you said, hey, Bob, you know, what's your thoughts on SPLOST? You know, and I'd done my homework, learned all about it and how this and that and the other. And that I could show you in my book, right? The first word on there was infrastructure, right? And then the below that was water lines, because I hear about that routinely, right? You know what I mean? We need larger ones, right? Or we need ones that aren't breaking apart, you know? And when I speak to the folks at the Water Authority, right? Every day they're dealing with leaks. I mean, it's a routine project. So you know, we're gonna openly talk about SPLOST, because the thing about it is, we need it for infrastructure, right? There's no doubt about it, and we're putting together facts and figures for everybody. But the thing about it is, you know, if you're asking me, and I know the people on the IDA, I got it, and they're friends, right? And they're good folks. But on the other hand, we gotta look out for Dade County, right? And we need infrastructure support. And I fully concur with giving money. And well, here's the next follow-up. I don't like giving money to somebody if we don't have follow-up on what they do.
Correct.
So, Philip, you and I agree on a lot of stuff. But my take on it is, and I don't know the mechanics of this, Don, but sort of like my boy, if I say I'm gonna give you $10 and you need to spend it on this, that's why I'm giving it to you. It's the same principle that I wanna give to the Water Authority. Like, we're gonna give you this money, right?
Well, let me correct you, because we don't just give it to them, they have to come and ask for it.
Whatever. I don't care how they get it, okay? But if they've got the money, I want to make sure that they're spending it on things that we want them to spend it on. That's my take on it, Don.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If that's a viable thing to do.
Yeah, so I think going up to 2.5 million is too big of a jump in 1 year, in one setting. You're going up 1.3 million. The purpose of the $1.9 million is to, and that's above, okay, 1.3 is in addition to 1.2, okay, that's 2.5 million. I think 1.9 is sufficient, because if you take that and you put that as 20% match with a grant, you can maximize that money at 80%. But grants do come along. A lot of grants have been made available, federal and state grants. Now, I don't know if they have grant writers, but we do. And so we have offered that service. Kathy's been here for a few months, and she's already proven herself to collect about $2 million in grants. And so, I mean, she's only been here a few months. And so, and those are not the big grants. There are some massive congressional spending bills that we can go for, but we've just not had the staff or people here. I know they may or may not have that person. Cliff, do you know if you have a grant writer?
We do not.
Okay.
We do not have full-time.
And therefore, we've offered Kathy to help them, but grants are very cyclical. They come in certain cycles that, you know, you have to know they're coming and catch them at the right time. Industrial development is just as important. It truly is. In the long term, we have 3-point-whatever% unemployment because we've actively been working industrial economic development now for years. And it's not because, it just didn't happen in Dade County. Now, there is limited property in the county, and I think a $700,000 increase from where they were before is sufficient. I mean, I truly do.
So you said it best. They've been working on the IDA for years. We have not been working on the water company for decades.
Well,
40, 50, 60. It's not we weren't there then. We're here now. So we need to turn our focus into what we need first, which is water. We still have asbestos lined water lines. We have a transite line going up Lookout Mountain. We have pumps that are bad. You're talking about 700,000. So how can we start fixing the problems we have without offering them more money?
Well, I do have to say, sorry, but I have to say that also they have received many grants. They're supposed to be working, and I guess Cliff could talk to that if needed to, but they're supposed to.
Please do.
They're supposed to be repairing those, and there's already a line going up Lookout Mountain that they're supposed to be working on. And that came from the Water Authority. I just called last week about it.
And also, it's to be noted, IDA, you use funds for water lines. Splost funds.
Yes.
Out of the, yes.
Yeah.
IDA funds have been expensed for water lines,
For new lines,
for new lines.
not for our
And,
failing system.
Well,
but let me
they
say
went
this
up-
about that. The county still is in control of the other monies that's gonna be collected out of the 23 million. It's not to say we can't spend the money as we want to. We could give them more. It's just in an intergovernmental agreement, you're committing these resources to those authorities so they know they've got them available. It's not to say we can't do more, but we'd have direct control over those funds at any time.
My take on this, but we're talking monies, we're talking SPLOST. Water affects every single citizen in Dade County, right? And we just need to put our efforts there, you know what I mean? But, before we delve into other SPLOST kind of things. I think water and roads affect everybody, you know what I mean? And that's where we need to spend money on. Cliff, give us some of the feedback here, partner.
So, as you all know, I'm the freshman member of the Water Authority. I'm not as experienced as some, and I've seen a little bit in the recent months. What I have seen with grants, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like when you were a little kid and you went to Lookout Creek and you put a cricket on your line with a float. You went fishing and you were waiting for a fish to bite. You didn't know what you were going to pull out. You may have really needed a crappie and caught a catfish. The thing with these fund matching grants, they may be out there for something that we absolutely don't need or don't need to be our focus right now. It may not be replacing old lines. It may be for an updated pump house or something of that effect. A lot of these grants are very specific. Regarding grants you've mentioned, the grant that I'm familiar with has been a grant that is still being worked on, a federal grant, to update the intake system. As it currently stands, I don't know if a lot of folks know, in the wintertime, these men that work the plant have to put on waders, get in the creek, and shovel out leaves and mud from the intake every winter. This one grant, it's about a $1.5 million grant, was to update that system. Now, we don't have that yet. That checklist was several pages to work through, and it's a months-long process, over a year-long process, to go through the checklist, the back and forth, to actually receive the money and start the project. Frankly, I appreciate the effort to focus on the water, because it's not something that can be done quickly. There's things that need to be done. The line up Lookout Mountain you mentioned, I think the last estimate's a few years old, was over $10 million. That's going to be much more than that now with inflation. Those funds are not there to do that line.
How many grants have you applied for?
Well,
I do not have that answer.
From what she
I didn't come
said,
expecting to speak tonight.
Yeah, well, from what she said, it was all, I thought it was already in the process, is what she said.
So the one that you are talking about,
Yeah.
the holdup on it was is we, the county, was about a little bit above a threshold to actually qualify. She's went back to them and now they've agreed that we don't really meet that threshold, so they're going forward with the grant
We have been
For
awarded.
the Lookout Mountain or for the?
for the intake stuff.
For the intake system. We have been awarded or green lighted on the grant, but we don't have any money for it, because after yes has been said, then there's a multitude of back office paperwork to do and criteria to meet and so on and so forth. Dr. Pullen is familiar. He's witnessed that process from the meetings he's been to.
Well, we have to stay on the subject, but this does get into, and, I hate to say it, but, well, what has been going on, because I know that those poor men, well, one poor man has to go in that river, that creek, and get that leaves out, and I know that there was some type of thing that was built and that didn't work out. And this has been going on for years and years and years. So I don't know, why couldn't we have helped that grant get further along? It's not you,
Well, they
you
have
know.
to ask for it. They are an authority,
Yeah,
and
they
their
have-
board has to
I
authorize
know,
their.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's I totally agree, that needs to be done and updated and everything, but somehow we gotta work a lot better together, because whatever's been happening is not happening.
Well, Commissioner, by and large, our water system is pushing 70 years old.
Yeah, I'm aware of all of it.
It's,
Dying.
y-
It is,
yes.
most
it-
certainly.
Yeah.
It's pick where you want to focus your efforts within the water system, and it can all use it. I have to commend the folks there. I think they do a great job. When you turn on your faucet, you have water, you have clean water. You have some of the cleanest in the state. So we're not awful, we're just aging.
Yeah,
Did you vote to approve the IGA?
I did, we did.
Okay. Did you approve the IGA as it was presented?
Commissioner Townsend, I did vote that way because I didn't know it was up for negotiation as presented. I did not know that was an
I didn't know
opportunity.
it was up for negotiation either,
But I didn't know, my fault. I didn't know we could say, no, we don't like this, we want more. I thought what was presented had to be approved. I was under the impression that it was a procedural vote to move on to tonight.
So I want to clear this up real quick. This is not the water board asking for this. This is Commissioner Hartline asking for this. This is not them. This is me. We approve what we say we're going to give them, correct?
That's correct.
I've said-
Authorize them to use.
I
But
got
they
that,
still
like
have to come back to us.
I understand that. I got this paperwork Tuesday. We're at a 3.3% unemployment rate. I'm not looking back, I'm looking forward. This is a problem that we have to fix
And,
with them.
right, and last year, who called a meeting for the infrastructure?
You did,
I did. And
You
how
did.
many times did we meet?
3.
3 times last year. We've
Well,
started,
two last year, once this year.
yeah, we've started, and we're trying, because in the past, we had, to my knowledge, in 18 years, no infrastructure meetings.
Yes.
yes.
So,
And there's other things happening at the board level for the authority. There's some training that needs to take place and because the board needs to be authorized, know that they are the authority. I'm trying to say that kindly. And so, I think there's additional staffing and such that maybe needs to happen in time. You can't just do that overnight, but it's a process. There has to be engineering studies done. We can say we do have leaks all over the county, but we also need what I call a master plan, ultimately that looks at all the needs of the community, but infrastructure is a very high priority. We all want to continue to have clean water. Lafayette, Walker County recently, in the last 10 years, let's say, had a situation where they did not have clean water, and it was a bad situation. So we don't want to get there, but I think y'all have done well with the funds that you've had, although even currently, you have not expensed the $1.2 million. Am I wrong in that? They have not. They've had
Yeah.
5 years to expense that, but they haven't spent that 1.2 million that they already have access to.
No, I believe that's incorrect. I think there are just less than $10,000 left in that, because we have
We'll
recently
be glad
came.
to look real quick.
Yeah, we recently came and
I know
asked
there's at
for.
401 the other day, 401,000, and they've done 450,000 on a water tank that has not been installed. So I don't know if there's another 100-something thousand in there that puts us down low, but they're getting low.
My understanding was that there was just a few $1,000s remaining, I think less than 10. But that
There's
was,
$423,509 left.
that's including this recent expenditure of
As of today.
450.
As of today,
But they haven't paid for it.
but they've not paid for the water tank yet.
Okay, all right, well,
So-
that's good.
Yeah, that water
But
tank
I'm
was
just saying,
450.
Yeah,
There is money
was,
available.
yeah.
And I'm not saying that we can't spend more, but we also can authorize it as we collect it. What if we did have a recession and we would commit 2.5 million or whatever to the organization? Are we gonna go back and cut them out? Can we legally cut the 2.5 million out?
No,
No.
no.
So that's an issue. I just feel like 1.9 is a generous offer. Personally, I think it's sufficient. $700,000 increase over what you already received.
If they still,
Well,
So,
the,
can I say one thing?
Yes,
When you look
please.
at this, so when you look at the SPOS tracking worksheet, what it does is it shows your original cost, your revised cost, all the expenses, and then gives you total expenditures. That's the total expenditure they've spent. So far, they've spent $423,000. You add the other 457, and then subtract that from the 1.2 million, so they still have $320,000 left to spend.
Okay.
I will look and find out where my number in my head came from. I took that
It's
from,
probably, like, I think a lot of people think that total expenditure columns means what you have left of the allocation, and it's not. That's showing for the SPOS, that's how much you've spent of your allocation.
Okay.
And then it shows right here what percentage you have left.
one thing I want to say, in response to Commissioner Woods. I totally understand your thought process on spending the money where where you as a board want it to be spent. I would ask for communication between the two, because what you as a board may see as priority may not necessarily be the actual priority, or they may be things that need to be done prior for what you're looking for to handle the.
Cliff, I don't have an issue at all with open communication.
Yes, sir.
At all, Cliff. In fact,
That's,
it bothers me, you know, I'm always open and honest. I appreciate your work in the water authority, right?
Yes, sir.
But the fact that a freshman kid is here, right? And not somebody else that's been involved in it for a long time to help us answer questions.
She didn't know this was coming to play. No, I mean, this is all on me. It's more about getting this conversation started.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And this does not reflect bad on you. You understand what I'm saying, though? You know, someone that's got
I
some
agree.
experience can say, hey.
Ladies and
this-
gentlemen, I
this
came
and
tonight
this.
as a citizen, but
Yeah.
this conversation came
yeah,
up.
but when
I
you
know.
were appointed, I was very glad, because I knew that there would be some communication, because that's my biggest complaint is, I mean, even my own person that I put on the board, other than hearing it from us or from the office, I don't ever hear anything. So that is a complaint to me, which, some of that could be me contacting them, but, I try that too. So, we have to stay on track. But there has to be a whole lot more communication, and you are right that a need that we see may not be a need, but the communication of what is actually getting done, because these things that I'm talking about could have been in the works and they're not, so it is all about
Right.
communication and.
There is a
and trust.
plan, there are projects on the table. It's not, it's not written out in a document that I can hand to you tonight, but it is
Yeah.
it is a general plan that we're looking to do, and Mr. Hartline sees a couple of those projects. They're needed projects. What I've learned with water is everything infrastructure-wise is so expensive, a large piece of revenue, a large check doesn't really affect the entire county. It affects a small area. So it's a long, arduous process. Thank you for your time. Is there any other questions that I may answer?
I don't have any questions, I just got some comments.
Yes, sir.
13 years on the water board. The water system has matured and it's going downhill, and it was doing that years ago. To go up Lookout Mountain, there was 2 plans. There was an engineering plan. That's a high-pressure system. The motors burn out because it has to reach hundreds of pounds of pressure. There was one plan to take the high pressure, put a new line up, and one to do, pump it up about halfway, put a valve in it, and it was $9-point-something million.
That's the one I'm referring to, yes, sir.
Yeah. But I appreciate what Philip is saying, I appreciate what Don's saying, but $700,000 ain't gonna touch what the water authority needs.
No.
And it needs a full-scale engineering plan. And Alex, I think one time was talking about how the Trenton needs revamping on the sewer, am I right?
Yes.
So we're talking about a lot of money for Trenton, but we're talking about, don't ask me, $40-50 million or something to put in sewer down Highway 11. We're still working to get the line tied in down here at 299 and see how far we can tie on with Tennessee American.
Yes, sir.
So it's not $700,000 that's gonna cure all of it.
No, sir, it's a piece at a time. And the project on Sand Mountain recently was about roughly 3 miles, 3 miles of new line on 301 South. That was an expensive project. But, only the folks that really live on that road or drive up and down it know it was done. So it's not a broadcasted fact. Anybody that wants to know can know, but you see these guys out here fixing stuff daily. They're in holes. New stuff's needed. That's what I'm.
Cliff, see, I appreciate it. We have open communication, right? You can say, let me just give you an update, right? We've done this, and this, right?
Yes, sir.
That would be very beneficial for everyone here. That would help me sleep better, right? There's no doubt about it. To hear that, hey, we spent this much money, that's okay. But let me tell you the improvements that have occurred. You know what I mean? Because you said you got folks out there working, they're working hard, right?
Yes, sir.
In rough situations. I think that communication as we're improving our communication, that would be data very worth receiving. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies.
Thank you.
Evan, come on up, since you've been recommended that we reduce your budget. Tell us what you think about the additional 700,000 and/or a reduction.
Well, first of all, as y'all know, the Industrial Development Authority is solvent on their own. This is not the operation budget. This would be a capital improvement budget that we seen $1.2 million in the last SPLOST. When they called and said, what is y'all's number that you would like to look at here? Well, the first thing I did is the fact that we wanted to see at 1.2, how much in 8 years have we lost as far as dollar-wise. So I did some research and came up, and that's where I came up with the 1.9. That's the same dollar amount that we got 8 years ago. It basically takes $1.9 million to replace the 1.2.
Okay, the worth.
The worth, yes.
Inflation.
So we didn't ask for anything extra. Technically, the buying power is the same. And because we didn't need any extra.
But with a 3.3% unemployment rate.
Well, actually, it went down.
No, it was 4 point something, it was 3.1.
Yes.
Last year, average was 3.3.
Well, it's 3.1 this month.
Yes,
That's the
this
new
month.
low that we've got. And we've got some great things. I know I'm on the agenda next month to present our, some of the economic development things that are going on. But in talking with, we just got finished with an expansion with Integer December 22nd that our attorney worked tirelessly on of last year that we got for that $27 million advance, $27 million, excuse me, it's been a long day, improvement for Integer that they're going to be hiring 150 folks over the next 3 to 5 years. I met with their new plant manager today. They've got a brand new plant manager. And then also Trenton Pressing, they've got one plant that's working 7 days a week right now. The tariffs, they told me, are working so well, they're tickled to death. They got 17 new customers. So, you know, some people don't like tariffs, but it's bringing jobs home. It's bringing jobs back, manufacturing jobs. So we didn't actually ask for anything other than the dollar worth that we got the last time. And I think the SPLOST revenue is up how much estimated from 8 years ago that it is now?
It is up, it's up to 23 million, that's at a 0% growth rate. And so what that means is, if it were to continue, a growth rate is set by the last 5 years of data. And based off of that, if it was at a 7.5% growth rate, in other words, from today through 2033, if it were to grow 7.5%, we would collect $33 million. Now, we've set that growth rate at
I
zero.
applaud y'all for being very conservative on the
We've estimated
collection.
it at a 0% growth rate, which totals right at 23 million.
Like that. But that's where that dollar amount came from. And I'm assuming that's where the dollar amount came for the water company. I was not into that discussion.
Yeah.
But was the worth of the 1.2 beginning of 8 years ago, the dollar amount that, you know.
Has the Industrial Development Authority considered approval of this document?
They've already voted. We had a special call meeting on Monday of this week, and they voted to approve the intergovernmental agreement where y'all could present it and then be able to vote on it tonight.
And Robin, has the Water Authority voted on this agreement?
My understanding, yes, we did on Monday or Tuesday as well, Tuesday.
So both boards have voted to approve the intergovernmental agreement that's presented. The city will consider it Monday. Mayor, I know you can't speak on behalf of all your council, but do you anticipate it passing Monday? You do, all right.
I've got a question. Go ahead, Rebecca.
I just wanted to say, just one thought, just to think about. We do have a low unemployment rate, but could additional jobs and certain types of additional jobs bring people that leave our county to work elsewhere, maybe bring them back here so they have jobs here to do? So they eat here, they do more here, they shop more here because they're not going to Chattanooga. So it might help in that way, maybe.
We're very fortunate. The counties, all of ours, the county's Industrial Development Authority has a very narrowed window of their authority, and that's to increase the industrial base. And that's a constant. They don't get to stop. Well, we're going to get to here, and we don't got to do any more. They've got to increase the industrial base that, number one, lowers the unemployment rate as low as we can get it. And the other is to add good quality jobs. That's the three things that they try to do, our board tries to do every day. And there's really no to the point that we're going to put it in neutral. We're getting RFIs, requests for proposals, really at a rate the last 6 months because of the tariffs from overseas that I was kind of shocked myself. But we don't know where that's going to go. I like the analogy that he talked about going fishing, and that's exactly what we do when we get an RFI. We say, okay, here's what we got. We don't know if the worm may be gone when we pull it back in. And a lot of times it is. We lost a RFI the other day because we didn't have 130 acres ready for them to go. Now, they identified some land, and we tried to show and show that. And they said, Great, we're excited about that, but we gotta put a shovel in it in 6 months. We couldn't have our land ready. So we lost that altogether because of that. And that happens a lot,
I was about to
because
say
they'll
that
come
might
in and
happen.
tell you what they want. And we gotta scramble like an egg to try to figure out if we can produce it in time.
All right, so I've got two things, and I'll be done with this.
Okay.
You voted on it when?
Monday.
When did you see the documentation of what we were gonna give them?
Well, I mean, the last one that I saw was about a week ago.
When did you see it, Mr. Pullen?
I can't tell
Was
you
it last
exactly, week? but I
Did you get
saw
last
it
week?
before this week.
I was supposed to have come Monday at 1:30, and I was on a job in Blairsville. I come Tuesday, that's when I seen it. This conversation should have been had 4 months ago.
We did.
Not,
Well, we've been talking about it for
all right,
months, but
this conversation, not one at a time or in other meeting rooms, this conversation should have been had 4 months ago, in my opinion.
Okay.
I don't run day-to-day, so I'm letting y'all know how I feel. You said y'all's job is to get jobs here.
Yes.
What else do you need?
Do what?
What else do you need for
We're
that?
always looking for additional land, the board.
But
Matter
what
of
do you
fact,
need for that when you bring in more jobs? Housing. What does houses
absolutely,
need?
yeah.
What does houses need?
That-
Water.
Right.
What about our
Oh, there
sewer?
is
What
no
about our
doubt.
sewer? So,
There is no doubt the infrastructure we also need.
all I'm saying is,
Absolutely.
this is a conversation that we need to have as the leading people of this county. They want jobs, they want houses, houses need water and sewer. We don't need sewer if we don't have water. That's all I'm trying to say here.
totally agree.
This is not
And I-
us versus them without you.
No, that's what I'm saying. There is a step. Do you put water lines in if your pumps don't work?
No, you have a pump, you have to have a pump.
So you gotta have the water
Which we just bid out
before
to
you can have the
replace.
other. And we all know that it's aging. This is just a conversation that he truly.
There is no way, and I know some of y'all sat in this infrastructure meetings that we've been having. We have a dire need for infrastructure. Now, I think the mayor has done a great job to be able to put together what he is looking at, a long-range plan to put the sewer together. They've got to do the same thing at the water authority. You know, and I think they're trying to do that because they've been at those meetings as well. So it's been going on for 6 or 8 months of really trying to put, as you said, a master plan together.
Right.
And I don't know how many of y'all have been involved in it. I know some of you have, because you were at
I've
the
been in
meeting
quite a
last
few,
week
yeah.
that we went over all of these dollar amounts and things of that nature. So that's been moving. But Commissioner Hartline, I totally agree with you. We have a infrastructure need on water, sewer. The only thing that we have good right now, totally good, and I'm not saying that it's bad, is we've got a great Wi-Fi system, and Tennessee Valley Net have done a great job of putting, that's infrastructure too.
Yeah.
Broadband
Oh, yeah.
is big time in what we do, both on housing, but on manufacturing. That's one of the things they ask. So Tennessee Valley Net has done a good job of bringing us, the whole county, up to speed on that. And I apologize for my voice, but it's been a long day.
Well, my take on it is that if we have collectively better open communication from all, all units, so to speak, within Dade County, whether it's water, whether it was, right, y'all or anybody else, it's kind of like a small step for man, giant step for mankind kind of a deal. You know what I mean? I think that's really important, right? So the citizens can see, hey, we've got our head in the game, we're addressing things, we're looking at it from many different ways. We're not doing anything behind closed doors or anything like that. I think the better open communication we have is gonna make these meetings longer. I don't care about that, honestly, right? I think having open discussions is worth the time, right?
Oh, I
You know what I mean?
agree,
And I think
100%.
tonight, we all brought it up that we need to do better about this, and I think it's a good step in the right direction.
One thing I would say is I think Georgia Power has upped the electrical supply in Dade County.
Yes, they have been working, as a matter of fact, on a couple of projects that we're working on now. They work hand in hand with us, and they do a great job.
Yeah, they sure do.
They'll step up to the plate when we need it to expand or to move a power line or whatever. Georgia Power has been a great partner of, I know, the city and the county as well as the IDA, and I'm sure the Water Authority too.
All right, anybody, commissioners, got anything to say? We do not have consent, I take it, to add this to consent agenda.
Since we've had this discussion and everybody understands, I'll go along with it.
Okay, thank you.
So
Agreed.
what are you going along with?
The 1.9 million.
Okay.
Okay, so.
I'm
Bill,
good.
you feel good about it?
It's a good.
I concur. I think this open discussion is just very viable and worthwhile for everyone.
All right. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah, I think,
Okay.
yeah.
I add that to consent agenda. Number 11. We have SPLOST resolution. Now, part of the county governing authority has to approve a call, and that's what this is doing.
What number are we on? I'm sorry.
Number 10, 11.
Right, we're on 11.
Resolution R-15-26 is a resolution set by the Board of Commissioners
Yeah, okay.
to collect, levy, and, collect the special sales and use tax within Dade County. And there's 2 statutory dates available this year set by the state of Georgia. One is May 19th, and one is in the general election in November. And so this has been written to order the Board of Elections to call for a notice of election and for a special called referendum to be held on May 19th of this year. I will go around the table, see if anybody has anything to say about it.
I'm good.
Now, just because there's items listed here, the county, there's no values, that it's only upon approval of the voters. Once that's approved, then we can begin to set values on these. We would have a whole year to do that, and take advantage of that opportunity to determine what gets how much money and whatever, based off parks and recreation, roads, whatever kind of infrastructure programs we set aside outside of determining the city of Trenton, the IDA, and the Water Authority. They would already have theirs set. Any questions?
My biggest one, some of the stuff that's on here, if it is on here, do we have to fund it?
Specific things,
You have dog park, you have pickleball courts, you have other things like that. It's very specific. Do we have to fund that, or can that fall underneath Parks and Rec's money itself?
I believe it could fall under Parks and Rec itself.
I think it's written like, such as, the general category,
Yeah.
and then it says, which may include, but not be limited to, it gives some examples, so it's not intended to, specifically.
I'm sorry, but those are not then requirements. That's what I'm trying to clarify here.
Yeah, it's just, I got that same thing on the animal ordinance, that I had to clarify. And yeah, it's more or less like clarifying what those things mean. It doesn't mean that, it even could go outside of those items that are listed.
So, but to answer your question, it's a phrase where it's intended for a project. Let's say roads and bridges.
Yeah.
And so it will list, it says roads and bridges, which may include, bicycle paths or, whatever. And the same thing. And so you'll see some for recreation department, and it'll give some examples there. Same thing with law enforcement.
That's what I'm trying to look at and see if that's the way it's worded. But that's, so if it falls under that, we can say, because so Don, you know as well as I do, when I first got in, we talked about changing out the lights at the
Yeah,
on
that's
the
right.
baseball fields.
Right,
So
right, right.
do we move forward with another project on pickleball courts and dog parks and skate parks? Or do we change out the lights on the ball fields?
I'd love to see the lights
I'm
change.
just, cause I didn't pay much attention to what the budget was on the Parks and Rec side of this or what we're thinking it's gonna be, but, cause with them two numbers was spelled out, we've not made them yet, but
Right.
we know the lights are gonna be around 900,000. We've been getting about $1 million for Parks and Rec, and that's gonna eat up the whole Parks and Rec.
Yeah, no, I
So-
totally agree.
I just I do not wanna be in a position 3 years down the road where you said you were going to build
Yep,
said project.
you're correct. Now, it can actually be specific in nature to add that language in there, and we have the right to add that tonight if it's so be it. But it's also covered the way it's currently written to include that.
I would like to be, if, on a legal aspect, if it is spelled out clear enough that we do not have to build it, I'm fine with it. If not, I would like to see something put in there that spells out that this is may or may not, and we do not have to build it just because it's on this referendum.
So there's various ways to do it. You can put a specific project with a specific dollar amount.
Right.
Or you can be, more general in the description, which is what we did. with
So
this.
you just Parks and Rec, and this stuff falls under Parks and Rec.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. That's all I have on that one.
Okay. All right, any other questions? All right, we'll add that to the consent agenda for approval. Resolution R-1626, that's the Georgia County Internship Program. This is a small grant that we have been approved for. Kathy requested that we approve this for an internship program through the Association of County Commissioners, Georgia Internship Program, and it is not to exceed $3,259. Let's see, up to $3,000, yeah, per intern. And there was, so far, I think we're just talking about one intern. Okay. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll add that consent agenda for approval. Number 13 is Resolution R-1726. Kyle, come on up. This is Agricultural Rural Development Community Facilities Grant. It finally has been identified with a name from the federal government for the Ambulance Replacement Initiative. And so we'll talk about this together. This resolution authorizes an acceptance of the United States Department of Agricultural Rural Development Community Facilities Grant. And so we applied through a congressional spending bill, something that I don't know that the county has ever done, and that I recall, at least in 20 years. Kathy Reagan, our grant writer, did apply for this and was awarded $406,000 grant for 2 ambulances. And so that is a wonderful situation. That is through United States Senator Ossoff's office. And you may be a Republican or a Democrat, I don't care. It's money we've paid to the federal government, and I'm happy to see some of it come back to Dade County. So we need to look at the SPLOST side of it. And so Kyle, go ahead and talk to us about that portion of it.
Well, the purpose of this grant was to replace 2 of our ambulances, which is part of our contract with our EMS service that we provide the ambulances. So for this grant, it was put in for $826,724.50. That was to provide 2 Frazier ambulances, 2 Stryker load systems for the stretchers, and then replacing 2 of the LifePak 35 cardiac monitors. That come to that total with Senator Ossoff approving $406,000. Since I originally put in the quotes for this, we did get updated quotes. The chassis on the trucks actually came down, and it actually, the total amount come down to almost $28,000 less. So the end up total being was $797,974.51 with Senator Ossoff's 406,000. It would be 391,974 and 51 cents coming out of SPOS to pay the remainder of that grant.
How much was that, one more time?
Our part or the total?
The SPOS part?
391,974 and 51 cents.
Okay, 391, 174, 51?
974.
974, okay. Well, you don't usually hear of it coming down, so that was actually a good thing.
That's actually, I forgot, that's the chassis coming down. That's on a 4500 4500 Ram chassis. We did some research and that a lot of the ambulance packages are better on a Ram. At least that's what, our vendor we use up in Shelbyville does a lot of our work, told me that. But it's also, we're doing a trade-in on our LifePak cardiac monitors on our older ones. The original quote, they were giving us a trade-in price of $8,500. They then upped that to $10,000 a piece, so it's a $20,000 trade-in on those. So we got a little bit more from Shocker as well. Money coming off.
And Rebecca, did they have that in their line item?
They do.
They do, okay. All right. All right. Any questions? Go around the table.
That was the ambulance and the equipment that y'all are putting in them, correct?
Yes, that's all total. Yes.
Yeah, I have no problem with
Ambulance
that.
and equipment, okay.
I concur with that, sure do.
Yes.
Okay, all right, we'll add that to consent agenda for approval. Thank you, Kyle. We also have, and this should have been done at 5B, but anyway, wait just a second, Alex. Where's Tommy Bradford? Come on up here quick. I've been requested by the clerk to bring you into this. Because y'all are waiting on something for an emergency vehicle package. What was that?
It's for the animal control truck. They didn't have it ready last time, so I couldn't bring in on the equipment part. So, last time I told y'all we had the cage that we were able to get and the camera system, so I don't need any of those. But for the striping, it was $960. For the Motorola radio for it is $3,100. And then just the emergency equipment's $14,934.71, which brings it to $18,994.71. And that's for the animal control truck.
And that's, okay, so that's radio, striping,
And blue lights, the
lights, all right.
all the stuff that goes on to that.
Okay. Any questions about that? $18,994.71.
So, explain to me why we have a pursuit grade vehicle for an animal control truck.
Because they're gonna be answering calls too when they're not doing just animal control.
So
We're
they will
still
be
gonna
on-duty
using-
officers and only, okay.
Yes, we're gonna use them both, unless they're tied up on calls.
Okay.
Yeah, we had
Animal
addressed that, cause I had the same concern, you know what I mean? You don't need all that to chase down a little dog, but they're gonna be police officers, right?
Yeah.
Right, I know, I'm just.
I mean, I don't
clarifying
see
it.
that they're gonna have
Yeah.
enough
Yep.
work to just do animal control.
Right.
And there's no sense in
So
them
when the
sitting
public sees
around.
that truck, they need to also understand that's an officer that
Yes, yes,
can do what they need to.
yes,
Okay.
yep.
Any other questions?
Nope, I concur.
All right, well,
Yeah, we went through all that, believe me.
yeah. All right, well, and what's the company's name, or, do you know?
Sign Rot or Summit is the striping, and Dana Safety Supply is the one that, for the equipment, which is down in Fort Payne.
Okay.
And then Motorola Solutions? Yeah, on the radio.
Okay, thank you. We will add that to consent agenda. All right. We have, yeah, that was 5B. We're on number 14 at this point. That's Alex, and he's going to talk to us about EMS services agreement in the most expedited manner that he possibly can tonight.
Well, as you know, for the last 2 weeks, I thank you all for meeting with us and talking about this with me and Chief Gross. As we know, we're coming in our final year of our contract with CHI Memorial, which is now called Common Spirit Health, North Georgia. We partnered with our neighboring county for since 2008 in emergency services when Hutchinson left us, being Walker County. County executive, both counties, ourselves, equals in both counties met with them to try to see we had a right, because this being our last contract, to negotiate exact rate going forward that we could legally let y'all, both counties, contract in. But when we got the pricing back, Walker's counties was very much higher. Ours was going to stay the same, but we felt that we could probably go out and see what else is out there. So we've kindly agreed to go out for request for proposal of the services that we need here for Dade, and Walker's going out for theirs, 2 separate contracts. And we have been working diligently with this together to make it one, hopefully, package to give the best rate for our citizens both. The 2 requests we're asking is exactly what we have now. And what does it cost for them to provide the trucks and everything, to give you, the commission, and us something to look at. So we've got some preliminary review, and we worked on heavy today. We've also will have our clerks, and we have read Walker counties, have seen things. They're reading ours because it kind of gets fuzzy. We got alternate people reading this as well. But again, we're hoping to bring some of this back to see where we are. Common Spirit Health has the same option to propose again what they have. And if it is that we choose, then we can go into contract negotiations. And we've expressed some things that we need to adjust for that, for the citizens, because protecting life's number one thing, and that's the most thing that we deal with is EMS services and making sure things are going and moving and being the best expedited for our steward of our funding to make sure this happens. And keeping after these grants, keeping after this trauma grant where we keep getting new things in and moving forward, and even looking at this next splosh, what we're going to do in 33. You know, that's some of the things that we looked at as well, that hopefully we can put some funds in there to do this again with a grant if we can find the cost of it. So just letting you know, we'll more or less just information on this, that we will issue in this Monday for proposals to get back, because we also got to start looking at our 27 budget and moving on further on what would happen with that pretty soon.
And it's going to run about 4, 5, 6 weeks, something. I don't know. I can't remember.
I'll tell you exactly.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah, we will issue it Monday. It will be returned back to this office March the 30th. April the 2nd, we will be able to give you a list of those proposals to see what they are. We will go back to the May meeting, come back with you with a recommendation. It gives us time to work with any vendor to see what those options are and what we can do.
Okay.
And then hopefully bring it back to you at the June meeting.
Sounds good. So issuing an RFP for emergency medical services on Monday. There's really no need to approve that. It's just acknowledgement in the minutes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Alex. We have proposed amendment, number 15, proposed amendment to ordinance number 060321, which is actually, I think, I saw that earlier. It's maybe ordinance number 030520, but anyway, it's both of them. I think, I think 060321 was an amendment to 030520, but anyway. That's solar power generation, and we're not ready to move forward with that. However, we definitely, Robin needs your input, and so I know Bob's got a few things he'd like to talk to you about. If y'all could schedule that sometime. If there's anything, Melissa, you want to bring up or talk
Yes,
about?
I have some stuff to talk about. So we have had a couple of meetings and trying to figure out the best way to handle this, and definitely have come up that it does fall under a special use board. And then we weren't even sure, we knew we had the ordinance, but we weren't even sure that we had an application or anything to support it, but we actually found out that we do have an application. We had it copied and put here for you guys to look at. So my suggestion is, which I've talked to a few of you, that we get the special use board meeting. I would like to see them meet like twice a month. Get them working start on page, let's see, page 2. It kind of lists some things that, and we need to make any corrections that we feel that needs to go in the special use ordinance. But on page 2, there's somewhat of kind of a list of what falls, projects that are required. And I would actually like to kind of clarify that a little bit better than what we have. So what I would prefer is that if they would get going meeting, start at the top and start with different subjects that are going to come up, which we've had several since we've even started talking about this. We had the power packs up on Lookout. We've got the solar, I don't even know what you call it, garden. Going on, and I know that there's going to be more, so I'd really like for them to start working on procedures and policies, come back to the board, let us agree on that and make sure that they're going in the right direction. And also at that time, it would be public of what they're doing, how they're doing it, and starting out with some policy and procedures, unlike some of our other boards that struggle.
Okay.
I've got some problems with this thing about a house. What's the definition of how big is that? I can buy a security camera that has a little solar pack like this. Is that something? But some people have a whole roof, and unless you really look, just driving down the road, you can't tell whether it's a roof or not. I mean, it's a black roof or whatever. I think that the special use committee needs to get some guidelines, do some research. Mm-hmm. And if somebody's got a 2-acre lot, a 1-acre lot square is 208.7 feet. And if you take 150 feet off of 4 sides, you ain't got anything to build on. I mean, you're down to nothing. So I think that 150 feet, if you had a 100-acre solar farm, that might be one thing. But for a lot, I mean, if you go around Sunset Drive over here, those houses are close. If they want to put a solar panel in, I think that needs to be clarified and looked at a lot. They need to go in.
Well, this is here with the special use is what's going to trigger this is that it's going to be business. This is not for home use or it's going to be, there'll be a commercial, they'll have to come and get a business license, and then that would trigger that it's going to be, multiple acres of some sort. And that's why I feel like the special use board, we need to clarify and make a very good application, because then it'll be more tailored towards what that person or that landowner is actually doing. And it's not necessarily
house.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily to tell anybody that they can and can't do anything. It's just to make sure that the property owner is protected and the people around it. It's not necessarily to say, no, you can't do that, or it's more to go through the process of how things get done, what they need to do to get to that point, and to make sure everybody's taken care of.
So part of it, Bill, right here in this section says, this shall not apply to solar power energy generation systems designed to install scale for single-family property, farm, integrated solar energy systems, or rooftop solar energy systems. It does not apply to that. But but I know what you mean, there's still some more clarification that needs to be done.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Yeah.
vegetation, I mean, how tall does it need to be and how many years it need to be there? If you plant a pine seedling, it's gonna take 20 years to grow up.
To me, for the density, I'm gonna say 20-30%, and I can get the numbers for that of a evergreen, a Leyland cypress or something that's gonna say 5 foot, 6 foot tall, something just to, and not all the way around, it may say not all the way around it, but between the solar farm and this house, you want this density, just some greenery in there, just where you're not looking at glaring solar panels.
Well, and they've already created different types of buffers and like it's already out there that they have multiple ones that you could look at and pick out. But this kind of goes beyond just the ordinance. This is getting, I think, our special use board prepared for, we already have one, they're there. We need to prepare them for what's to come. And that's more my concern is that this, we had to put a stop because we don't have anything. But if they get together and they start working and we're approving what they're coming up with, then that'll prepare them for what's to come. And that's kind of the goal for me out of this.
Okay, so what I recommend is we, if you, for sure, can help meet with the special use board.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And any other commissioner that wants to, or maybe any of you want to at different times, just so there's no more than 2 in the room. Maybe set up a schedule with Patty, because Patty has in the past served as clerk. Hopefully she still helps with the board. I know she's got a lot of documentation and can get in touch with the board members. There are there's 2 brand new board members, and now the other 1 or 2 actually, I don't know if they've ever had many meetings, if any meetings. And so it definitely is a need for some training. I'd say to review the ordinances that they already have, plus revisit the application for special use permit for industrial use, and take a look at that. Bill, I know, had some recommendations for that. And
Yeah, and I've talked to Robin about them.
And then perhaps go through that with the committee, or whatever they're called, the special use permit board. And so if they would like to add those, change some words on this one, whatever, then get back with you guys, and then y'all can bring that back to us.
Yes.
We'll then consider that. If y'all want to adopt that as part of I don't know, I guess we could adopt it in part of the ordinance, or put words in the ordinance regarding this application. I think there's already words in it regarding it.
Yeah, this
They've
is already
adopted it, but I
done.
don't know that we have to adopt it per se, but I think it's something that we could review and make any suggestive changes to it, and then send it back to them through you and the county attorney. And then after that, hopefully, if this next thing passes, we will be ready to approve this ordinance, amendment to this ordinance, which includes anything else that it needs to say specifically about solar farming. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yes.
right.
I guess my only question, which would be Robin, so if we get with them, it's kind of like TDAC, if we get with them and they're coming up with procedures and applications and that sort of thing, of course, they're going to come back to the board, and then that's when the board approves it, correct? Yeah. That's how we would work that?
Right, so if they're needing to make changes to the ordinance itself, they would need to bring it back. If
Okay.
what they're doing is taking some interpretation, a couple of the applications is a good example, doing things within the existing ordinance, they would not have to come back for that.
Okay, but we don't have to require them to, because I would prefer that because it makes it public of what they're doing. It gives more eyes at looking at, I just don't want a group of people coming up with what they're gonna choose is right or wrong by what the ordinance says.
Yeah.
I want more people to look at it. So is it possible that can we do anything to make that happen, or?
Sure, so, if they were to come up with something,
Well, let me make an example.
Okay.
So this is an application that's already there, and it's very basic. So what I feel like is that they're going to have to make probably multiple applications for different items that are gonna come up. So if they're making those applications, I don't want just this group of people without any input or public input or our input to come up with that application and it not be what.
yeah, there is something in the ordinance about the application, but we can make it more specific in the ordinance amendment. if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what, it's just like TDAC, like we've come up with some different procedures, but we've brought it back to the board to get feedback or to figure out if that's best or not best. So I don't want that group to have the authority to say yes or no to something that they're making up, I guess. So,
Okay.
So,
does that make sense?
yeah,
And it's not that I don't trust them, I just want it to be public of what's going on and how it's being handled, and that's that's two boards that are agreeing to make this happen. So, but I do want to use them as a resource to get us to that point.
Okay. So we'll schedule those meetings, make sure if you can attend them. And then again, let the other commissioners know, or let Patty know to let the other commissioners know, or Gidget, or whatever, so that we can, anybody that wants to maybe rotate in and out.
Yeah, we'll
to get a
we'll
feel
probably
for
just
that.
try to do an email.
Okay.
Be
All right.
easiest.
So we're tabling that officially tonight as far as number 15 for further consideration. Number 16, Resolution R-1826. In order to accomplish the changes to the ordinance, we do and did have, the one pending group, person, entity, somebody interested in doing solar farming, permitting, and we're out of time on the current 90-day moratorium. Is there a feeling to extend the moratorium another 90 days?
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's what this document does, Resolution R-18-26. It will extend this an additional 90 days for duration. And make sure if y'all get a chance, take a look. The current group that's interested have made some certain requests, actually specifically to Commissioner Bradford. And it's been a little bit difficult to answer their questions, but one of the things was seeking a land disturbance permit. They had not done that, but it clearly states in here that they cannot do that for the purpose of solar farming, or
that's great.
solar farming, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we would not issue any that sort of
Right.
thing while this is going on.
They also included in that request a request for a survey, but I don't see any problem with them. If somebody wants to survey their property,
I think
let them
that's all
survey.
done already.
Let them survey all they want to. Okay.
And I do want to say they have been very, communication's been very good. They're willing to talk, to come, to meet, to do whatever. They said that, we could use them as a guinea pig. The engineer he's done this many times, and he's willing to put any information or any questions. If you have any questions or anything like that, he's definitely willing to talk. And my hope is that I think it'll take a couple meetings for the special use board to kind of get comfortable and get their meetings going. But the first thing I'd like to do is go ahead and start on some type of application to kind of hopefully come back from the moratorium and be in a better spot to accommodate.
Any other questions about Resolution R-18-26?
No, sir.
All right, hearing none, we'll add that consent agenda for approval. We are going to recess. We'll be back about 8:20. I'm sure your bladder needs a little break. Well, wait a minute, we're waiting on the clerk, wait just a second.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Perfect. All right, the Dade County Board of Commissioners regular meeting is hereby called to order. At this time, I will ask the clerk, nope, I'm not going to ask the clerk anything. I'm going to talk to the pastor here. We had one pastor that came tonight to pray for us, and he's a Baptist, and he even gave up on us. We lasted so long. So, you know, when you out preach a Baptist, you're in trouble. Jerry Atkins, our chaplain, is here, and I'll ask everyone to stand at this time and then have Bob Woods lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father, we're grateful for this day and for the blessings you let us enjoy from your hand on a daily basis. Lord, the many issues that the answers need to be tonight for these members of this board, help them to know, Lord, that every solution to every problem is in your hand. So they must seek thee to find the answer. Give us traveling mercies now as we leave tonight in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Face the flag, hand over heart, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
All right, this is the regular scheduled meeting of the Dade County Board of Commissioners, which takes place at the same time on the first Thursday of every month. Proper notice of this meeting was given in the legal organ of Dade County and has been posted in the hallway of the administrative building. This time I'll call the roll and have it recorded by the clerk. Dr. Pullen?
Present.
Mr. Hartline?
Present.
Mr. Woods?
Present.
Mrs. Bradford?
Here.
And the chair is present. We have a quorum, therefore, a legal meeting. Citizens' participation. None. All right, moving on. There was, but they marked their name out. So, all right. At this time, I'll call upon each commissioner to make a point of personal privilege. Commissioner Pullen.
May I have my slides, please? Little update on the construction. The US 11 Squirrel Town Bridge, the temporary bridge has been removed, and the construction company is in the process of, they've ground up the pavement that was there. They're taking the dirt and the gravel out, and they're going to slope the sides, put up guardrails, and then the resurfacing will start. So that's on the way. Next slide. Y'all are well aware of the cold weather we've had and sleet, snow, and rain. And I'd like to say thanks to all the public works, the road department. They did a great job of keeping the roads passable. To law enforcement, that's city, county, and state. And then you've got the 911 emergency management and EMS. They kept going through all of this, and thanks to all of them. And then thanks to TDOT, because TDOT kept Tennessee moving so Georgia and everybody else could keep moving. I had the privilege of riding around with 3 of the county men from the public works. And these little salt dog things, I thought they were the cat's rosette. They are kind of neat. And but I can see the advantages. You see some of the pickups that the commission has bought, and they work really good for going around the county roads. The county has a big truck, like a 2.5 ton or something like that, but these little pickups, they work good. 911 activity. Give y'all a little bit of time to go over this. Last month, I ran the average for 2025, and I look back on that, and the average for 2025, the whole year, per month was 2,548. And looking back on this, it varies month to month, and it varies on whether EMS gets more call, or the fire department gets more, or law enforcement gets more, but that's in the neighborhood of it. Beginning on February February 23rd, GDOT will probably be closing the Sligo Road Bridge over I-24 to construct a new bridge. Traffic could be detoured for up to 270 days. Please be aware that that'll be closed. There's nowhere to really turn around good on there yet. Before you get there, actually, there won't be a bridge. But the county has signs up, no 18-wheelers, but I can tell you some of them can't read, because I've been through there when they were trying to go. So I hope to get up some more signs, maybe some bigger signs. Next slide. Some of this has been mentioned, but upcoming elections locally, there's two seats, county commissioner seats that will be up, 2 seats for the Board of Education, and qualifying begins on March 2nd, which is not far away, and it ends on March 6th. And the schedule of the special election runoff and all of that can be found on the Dade County Gov site for anybody that's interested in wanting to run. We need poll workers for the election. And while I'm on that, we need volunteer firemen. I mentioned this one time in the past, but we need volunteers. There have to be so many per station, and they need to be certified, and you have to go through those steps. I don't want to see the state coming in and telling us what we got to do. So if anybody has a hankering, they want to be a fireman or a poll worker, you're sorely needed. And I think that's all I've got to say.
All right. Mr. Hartley.
I'm gonna start with electrical inspections. For the month of January, we had 24 total. It was 20 less from the month before. But we still had 6 new construction temporaries. That means there's 6 more new homes being built. A thing I want to point out is we had 3 failed inspections in December and 2 in January. I know 2 of the reasons to fail your inspection. One was the height of the meter base from ground level. This is all per Georgia Power. This is not our codes. This is Georgia Power and what they want. We have homeowners that hire electricians out of Tennessee. Tennessee will let you use a different type of meter base than what Georgia will. So when they come in, they'll put their meter base in, and that's one of the reasons to being failed, because Georgia does not let you have a ringed meter base. It's a one piece. Tennessee, I think, still lets you buy with it. That's all on the electrical inspections. At the park, middle school baseball starts the 9th. They should start playing by the end of the month. Rec baseball is doing sign-ups now. They'll start practicing right after February the 17th, and then they'll start playing early to mid-March. And then we also have rec soccer sign-ups going on. It ends February the 27th, and they'll start practicing in March. Update on the storage facility and concession stand. When a project starts out slow, it's like you can't ever get it to speed up. So when I went and ordered the trusses, the people had took their truss machine out.
Oh, no.
So I had to wait for them to get it put back in, but they are delivering trusses Monday, and then we'll get the rest of the material, and they'll start framing next week sometime. That's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Woods.
All right.
First start, please. There you go. All right, let's talk about the Trenton Dade Animal Center. There's a picture of what the shell's going to look like. And right now, they're doing prep work over there. Right behind the transfer station is where it's going to be set up at. The contractor's there, and it's going to be delivered on the 27th, and it should be up within a week after that delivery date. And then we'll start working on the interior and that type of thing. But that's a good step forward. We have animal control officers now. We gave them some equipment earlier tonight in the workshop. But Michael Howard, who works for the Sheriff's Office, and Donnie Dees, who works for the Trenton Police Department, they have dual roles, both animal control assistance, patrolling, emergency responses, and all the usual activities that policemen, right, law enforcement has within the county. In the workshop tonight, we appointed several people to the Trenton Dade Animal Advisory Board, right, which is a good thing. And at the last TDAC meeting next month, we're going to reduce those sessions from twice a month down to one. And the next one is going to be on February the 17th, and this is going to be at City Hall, because this room here will be quite busy with elections and that type of thing. And I need to point out on March the 11th in the City Hall meeting room from 8:30 to 4:30, there's going to be training, and we'd like law enforcement, the animal control officers, prosecutors, judges, veterinarians, shelter staff, or anyone else is interested, right, including county commissioners, if they want to come there. They're going to have a whole day where you learn about the recognizing different signs that are having to do with animal abuse and the like, and the laws and all that kind of stuff. And you get 7 hours of credit when you come by. But please, March 11th, right, in the City Hall from 8:30 to 4:30. All righty. Next chart, please. All right, the Dade County Center, unfortunately, the director wasn't able to come tonight. But next chart, please. They do a whole lot of serving meals, right? Penny and her team carry folks all over the place, right? Here, there, and yonder. And next month, we're going to give you a breakdown of that. But we thank the Senior Center for what they do in support of our senior citizens and giving them a reason to get up and someplace to go every single month. All right. Next chart, please. All right. Various topics that I've been thinking about. I'd like to be able to figure out a way to make the county's community centers, and we have several of them, a good place for families to go. Just something to think about. The SPLOST usage and support. We need this money to support our infrastructure and roads, and we talked about that earlier tonight. And we're putting together some info that we can share with you so you can see how we've spent SPLOST money on infrastructure and roads over the last years. We figured out how to protect citizens' property rights without implementing zoning. So we're working our way through that, and that brief's easy, but it's not. All right, so we got our head in the game. And the good man at the end of the commission here, we got to find a replacement for Dr. Pullen, our District 1 rep. There's no doubt about it. You need to qualify for this election March 3rd through the 6th, just like Bill told you. And their primary election is on May 19th. And a final vote on the 3rd of November. So please, here's the last thing I want to talk about. You need to get out and you need to vote. That's just the bottom line. I'm not going to give any war stories, but I've been around the world where people can't vote, all right? And they all desperately would want to, so we can't give up that opportunity. For the folks sitting here, you know, sometimes 12 votes make a difference whether or not you get elected or not. Sometimes it was 100. So everybody needs to get up and vote. You know, and to think about it is, you know, right now we're replacing Marjorie Taylor Greene in the House of Representatives in D.C. 22 folks are running for this seat, including several from Dade County. Clay Fuller, Colton Moore, and Arush Rozowski, who I've not met yet, right? But there's 3 folks just from Dade County going for that. 17 of them are Republicans, and the remainder are Democrats. Okay, so you need to get out and vote on that. You know, just a reminder, don't give up this opportunity. Voting is important, and every vote does count. The special election is going to be on March 10th. The advanced voting starts on February 16th, so that's coming up. And I'm telling you, I used to go vote in Razafon, but I don't do it anymore. I come down here on advanced voting, you walk right in, you get taken care of, and you leave. There's no long lines or anything like that. And the voter, if you need to register to vote, you got to do it by February the 9th, which is just coming up. All right, that'll be it for me. Thank you.
Started to say Congressman Bradford, but we'll call you Commissioner Bradford tonight.
Yeah, I don't want to go there.
All right, thank you. You're not running, are you? Okay.
Nope. All right, well, I just want to start with saying that, I haven't talked about recycling in a while, and we really, Donna and I both really tried to reach out with Glass and didn't really get any response, and I don't know if it's just not on his mind or he's not ready for that yet, but we haven't got any response back. We both have tried. I've still been emailing. I've tried to call. So I don't know what's happened there, but the connection is not making it. But we will keep working on that. If we can't find, if he doesn't want to do it, we're looking at other options. There's a couple different options that have popped up, so we're still kind of looking at that and hoping for the best. With that saying, it's still, you know, it's definitely worth, you know, making the world a better place. But by all means, you know, cardboard is at $40 per ton. So that's very low. Nobody's taking it. Nobody, I don't know, you would think that would be a huge recycler, but they're very picky about cardboard. Number one, plastics is at $40 a ton, and that's a little better than cardboard because it compacts a lot better. Number two is at zero. Nobody's wants number two, so that was kind of disappointing this past month when we got those numbers. And those are just kind of some updates that had changed. Cans is still, I think it's around $50 a ton, so it's kind of stayed the same, tin cans. So, you know, we're constantly, it's just always a battle. We're just always trying to fight that battle and try to make it better and look for better things. I'm keep hoping that things will change and people will come up with better ideas and better ways. So we're going to keep on going, though. We're not going to give up. And to move on, I'm not going to sit here and read through everything, but I definitely want to touch on, you know, the different, I know this is posted also on the website, and probably, I know Emily probably puts it on Facebook and different things. But I just want to, you know, put that out there, what we are doing and how it's impacting the community and the animals, and how we're moving up. We were, you know, not even touching cats, but now we're getting into the cats, and the piggy that I was fostering has found a forever home, is completely, I wish I would have put in a picture, but looks completely different. So that was touched my heart a little bit because he was really, really touch and go. And so, you know, a girl had other pigs, and she was just the happiest could be about taking that little pig. So then the next, touching on, you know, the pet of the month, which is I think is great. This gets these animals animals out from the shelter and our care, and, try to push this along to everybody so we could get them in and out and in homes and in better places than a concrete little building. The next one is, so the public service, we're always needing food and different things, so there's the number there, and then the low-cost, spay and neuter, which, is doing great and is gonna keep on trucking, so, I actually had, 2 or 3 that I took in this past week, so it's fantastic. You just drop them off and then pick them up. And they were doing great this morning, so running around like normal. And definitely the ownership, rehoming and posting, and so everybody that's looking at this, definitely share and help out as much as possible to get these animals out of this shelter. And then the next one is just kind of touching on the same thing that Bob has said, so, just put that up there to the sponsors and everybody that's helping out. It's a big deal. It's a real big deal, and we're just keep on trucking. So hopefully procedures and policies will continue to get better. And when I came in on this, 5 or so years ago, it was one of my top of my list, and I was very concerned about the way it was gonna go and how it was gonna turn out, and I have babied it along the way, and it couldn't have gone better. We have had some really good people working towards it, and I appreciate Bob stepping in, and I really couldn't have dreamed that it would have went as well as it has gone. So I do appreciate that. And tire amnesty, we were a little late last year just because of some delay and everybody coming into the office and a couple things, but we're back on track. So we're May the 2nd, 2026. So we'll be ready for that, and we still were collecting those tires, so the more we can get, the better it is. And we're also looking at, hopefully towards the fall, I know I've said this before, but now we've got the grant writer, we got the grants, looking at the grants, and it looks like we're gonna be able to hopefully schedule something for the fall to do a side of the road pickup type of thing. So we'll be hopefully talking about that soon. And I think that's all I got.
All right, thank you. This past month, January, we had the GIC meeting, which Bob just about lost his mind at, but that's beside the point. It was called GIC, G-I-C-H, that's Georgia Innovative for Community Housing Orientation, and Bob came to that, and he entertained us. But it was a good meeting, and we learned a lot, and we'll be moving forward with that. Great committee. Appreciate everybody that was there, and look forward to working with them over the next, really, 3 years. Multi-county opioid meeting. We met in Catoosa County at the request of Catoosa County's leadership, and Chattooga, Dade, Walker all attended that meeting. And it was a good meeting. We're still filtering through what was discussed, and maybe we'll have some more ideas about how to utilize those funds in the future. EMA winter weather briefings went well this year. They weren't too bad. I mean, we were very fortunate. It's very cold, but the teams all did great. We appreciate our emergency services, our public works personnel. Everybody likes to be off, but they have to get out in the middle of all that weather, so we do greatly appreciate their service. I mean, from Cleveland to Virginia, it was extremely cold and a lot of snow. So we were fortunate on that Monday or Tuesday, we got a report we was going to have 20 inches of snow on Friday. By Thursday, we're going to have 0 inches of snow. So it was quite a wild week of interesting weather forecasting, but I'm thankful it did not snow 20 inches. I'd like to have 2 inches maybe, but not 20. And, but anyway, appreciate everybody that helped with that. Attended the Lookout Mountain Judicial Circuit Drug Court graduation. Had 17 graduates. That is something that all the judges participate in, but Judge Thompson has been the leader over that group, as well as Judge Arndt, and we thank them for their efforts, along with the whole drug court team that helps. And so these are folks that were bound by certain addictions, and they have overcome those. Many have been clean for up to 3 years, and so we celebrate their recovery with them. Coffee and Connections, Human Trafficking Awareness. Bob brought that up a little bit a minute. No, actually, it was something else. We attended that. It was sponsored by, I think, Trenton Methodist Church, and our very own clerk helped with that. There's a picture of her there, along with Julie Williams, right? And they kind of sponsored that event, along with the Sexual Assault Victims Advocacy Center and the Children's Advocacy Center of the Lookout Mountain Judicial Circuit. So it was well attended, and we look forward to continue our partnership with them, and thank Gidget for their help through their church. Trenton Dade Animal Center meetings, of course, we did have our 2 different meetings this past month. Very productive in those meetings. The grand opening of the Fowler Family Bin store down here. We're across from Bank of Dade. So if you get a chance, located at 12596 North Main Street. I think they're closed on Wednesdays and Thursdays and Sundays, but other than that, they're pretty well open. 10 to 6 every day, so get a chance to stop by and check out that. It's quite interesting. And also ribbon cutting for the Shed on the Brow gift shop. Again, that's located at 1045 Brow Road up on the mountain. And again, they're open pretty much 7 days a week. So if you get a chance, stop by and support those businesses. Again, as Commissioner Bill Pullen announced, the bridge, we can't stress that enough. I'm going to see if we can have some signs erected regarding no 18-wheelers past this point, pretty much there at Sligo Road, at Morganville Ridge Road. Because if they do get down there, that is going to be quite interesting for a tractor trailer to turn around. I don't know how they'll do that.
With the wrecker.
With a wrecker, exactly. And maybe even put some signs on 299 as well, headed in to Sligo Road there. So again, that bridge, they approximate that it'd be closed 270 days. I don't look for that to be open for about a year, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'm wrong and they'll have perfect weather, but we'll see. In fact, again, reiterate what Commissioner Woods talked about, and that's the special election coming up here in a few days. That will be held here in this room, February 16th. Special election to fill the 53rd Senatorial District, as well as the 14th U.S. House seat. So both those seats will be on the ballot, and that will end on March 10th at all 7 precincts open on the day of elections, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. But in this room for early voting will be 9 a.m. till 5 p.m., I think is what their hours are. And that'll be Monday through Saturday for at least the first 2 Saturdays. So get out and vote. I'm telling you, they don't count every vote on that one. That's going to be very, very close. 22 candidates. It's going to be very close. So, all right, that concludes my report. I thank the commissioners for that tonight. We'll ask on appearances. In-person presentation is available tonight by Mrs. Laura Beth Cunningham, 4-H agent. So, Laura Beth, come on up. And I'm sorry I did not introduce your cohort there. See, I'll just talk them. Allison.
Nice to see y'all again. So my first slide is an update on the Ag Center. Our floor did get its resurfacing. Oh, that is last month.
That's last month, she said.
Nope, that's all we've.
maybe you'll get to see it.
Well, go ahead and talk to us about it, and we'll.
Yeah.
Tell them how great it is. Well, I will pass this around for you
That'd be
guys to
great,
look at.
thanks.
It did get resurfaced. There's some dark marks where the control joints are, because when we pulled out that carpet, we realized our control joints were like really big, which, I mean, was good. So there's some dark spots right there. He's gonna come back and put some more flake out to blend it all in, and it'll look great. But the toilets are awesome once they got that second one screwed down correctly, and Caroline didn't fall off of it. That was fun times.
Oh, wow.
And then our water fountain is awesome too. So now we have a good water fountain with a little water bottle filler. I'm glad I printed these out.
That's what I'm going from my memory.
The homeschoolers meeting is going to be on February 25th at 1 p.m. Holding true to the Tree City thing going on, we are going to have a lesson on tree detectives and talk about all the things that you can learn from trees. Our next slide would have been an Ag Ventures slide. And again, we're going to read a book there. It's called Who Will Plant a Tree? The book talks about all the different animals in the forest that actually contribute to planting trees, like the birds and the squirrels and things like that. And then we'll do a craft, and all of those kids will also receive a new seedling. And then the next slide was a schedule of all the Ag Ventures. So along with going to the library, we're doing that on the 10th. The following week is when we're going to go into the school system. So we'll see a couple of 5th grade classes, and we'll do the tree detective lesson with them. And then we're going to see, there's, I think, 12 different classes of K through 2nd graders. They're going to get the same book that the library kids did, and they'll also do a little craft and get a tree sapling. So lots of trees are going to be handed out in Dade County. I really, really hope they get planted.
Yes.
It's definitely going to be a big deal. Oh, and also I meant to tell you on the floor, the final invoice on the floor came out to $15,907.60, so it was actually quite a bit under what we had originally discussed. So I mean, it was a good deal all around. So really happy about the floor. I hope you guys come by and look at it. So I know that Caleb came by and looked at it.
So what is the tree? What is the seedling?
There are I want to say 5 different ones that Jane ordered. I think one of them is a red maple.
Oh.
One of them is like a silky dogwood. But they're good ones. They're not just like, I mean, she ordered good saplings.
Can we purchase them, or?
So the drive-through tree pickup
Yes, okay,
is going to
okay.
be on the 16th from 1 to 3.
Okay, I
So
need to
you
put
can
that-
just drive through and pick up a sapling.
Okay.
It is a Monday.
16th.
It's on President's Day.
Okay.
16th from 1 to 3. But there's 5 different trees, and they're all good trees. They are free. They are free. You do not have to pay for them.
Where did the funding for that come from, for the saplings? They're not free, so.
So the city gives Tree City, I want to say $3,000 a year, and that's where those trees were purchased from.
1 o'clock, you said?
1 to 3.
1 to 3?
1 to 3.
You can just drive around, right? It's a drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll in, snatch that tree.
Yep.
So, is there any post-construction stuff that we need to take care of over at the 4-H building?
There is.
Okay. Get with us, get with me tomorrow or something, and we'll take care of that.
Yeah.
It's nice to see y'all again. The new floors are so nice. We had our first program today on them. We had a fruit tree field day at the office. We missed you, Dr. Pullen. I know you gave a phone call about it. We did a half indoor, and then we went to Rise and Fawn Gardens and did a pruning demonstration. It was really good. I had great response from it. So good to hear there's a Tire Amnesty Day. That is one of the best ways to remove mosquitoes, one of the best strategies that you can do. I'm going from my mind, and it's past my bedtime. So I've been doing a couple beekeeping sessions with our Tri-State and our Northwest Georgia beekeepers. I've been doing some beginning beekeeper courses, talking about how we protect our hives. Our beekeeping group, the Tri-State, we met last month, and we had 8 people there, which is fantastic because usually it's been just a couple. This month, the Tri-State beekeepers are meeting in our gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, renovated building Monday, February 16th. And then our Tri-State cattlemen are meeting Tuesday, February 17th, and it's going to be in the Dade County Ag Center. That'll start, I believe, at 6 p.m. And if you have a private applicator's license, that is going to be a session that is available for credit. I'm going to be talking about the New World screwworm, nasty little fella, and then Wade Hutchison, my partner in crime, is going to be talking about pasture management. What else is coming down the line? So there were 2 confirmed cases in commercial poultry houses. Put them together, what do you get? In our next door neighbor, Walker County, in January. And so I'm going to be doing some virtual protect your flock talks, just if anyone has home birds, talking about how we protect them. Why we're not doing them in person is because the Georgia Poultry Network Lab has asked us to make those virtual, just in case if you were to meet together and you had birds, you don't want to be a potential exposure event, right? And so I'm going to be doing those. Look on the Facebook for those flyers. And then also next month, we're going to be doing some vegetable gardening, home gardening, and tomato classes that I'll have those flyers up next week as well. So our programming is up and going, and I'm really enjoying it. And thank you again. That water bottle filler, man, I'm on that thing all the time. So thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. We have online presentations available by Lydia Sosi, manager of the Dade County Public Library, and also Mrs. Sandy White, President and CEO of the Alliance for Dade in the Chamber of Commerce. All right. I'll now ask Mrs. Rebecca Jones, CFO, to provide the county financial report.
The first page is the account balances as of January 1st, 2026. The next 4 pages, it goes over the budget variance report as of December 31st, 2025. For revenues, our year-to-date actuals were $9,937,685. Year-to-date budget, $10,011,092. So we're under budget by $73,407. Expenses, year-to-date actuals, $8,434,061. Year-to-date budget, $8,436,876, so barely under budget by $2,815. The next 4 pages goes over lost and splosh trends worksheet since, I think that should say 2011 now, I had to update it. Or 2009. Yep, 11. The next several pages then go over the 2015 and 2021 SPLOST detail. And the very last page you have there is the year-to-date tax collections. And the percentage collected as of December 31st, 2025 is 77.59%.
All right, are there any questions pertaining to the report? Hearing no questions, I will entertain a motion to approve the financial report as presented by Mrs. Jones.
Make a motion as presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Bob? All right, I have a motion and a second. I will now poll each commissioner to have their vote recorded. Dr. Pullen?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. The motion is passed by unanimous vote. Legal matters, Mr. Robert Rogers is our county attorney. Mr. Rogers, do you have any legal matters to discuss with the board this evening? I don't. Is there any unfinished business to discuss or vote on? Hearing none, under new business, the reading of the minutes of the last month's regular meeting and any special call meetings will not be required since all commissioners have been furnished copies in advance. The minutes are public record and available for review in the county commission office. The minutes are included in the consent agenda and will be considered for approval under new business. I will now ask the county clerk to read aloud the items for consideration on the consent agenda.
Okay, items on the consent agenda are approval of the agenda, approval of previous meeting minutes, review of personal status report, proclamation for the Trenton Dade Optimist Club Optimist Day, the first Thursday of February. Proclamation of Arbor Day, third Friday of February, which will be February 20th, 2026. Proclamation for Severe Weather Preparedness Week 2026, which is February 2nd through the 6th. Proclamation of the American Heart Month, February 2026, and Go Red on Friday, February 6, 2026. Proclamation recognition of the National Future Farmers of America Week, February 21st through the 28th of 2026. Resolution R-07-26, appointment of member to the Special Use Permit Board for District 5, Clifton Reeser. Resolution R-08-26, reappointment of member to the Department of Family and Children's Services Board, Kathy Reagan. Resolution R-09-26, appointment of a member to the Trenton-Dade Advisory Board, Ann Brown. Resolution R-10-26, appointment of a member to the Trenton-Dade Advisory Board, Amy Garrett. Resolution R-11-26, appointment of a member to the Trenton-Dade Advisory Board, Jimmy Stewart. Resolution R-12-26, appointment of a member to the Trenton-Dade Advisory Board, Debbie
Tringali.
Okay, commissioners are approving the proposed amount of $1,790,911 for the construction of the election building by Robert Roberts. Commissioners are approving equipment for the Sheriff's Department Animal Control Vehicle for $18,994.71. Commissioners are acknowledging the approval of the FY25 annual financial statement for period ending June 30th, 2025 by HHM Certified Public Accountants. Resolution R-13-26, disposal of surplus county property of a 2006 Ecoline transport van. Resolution R-14-26, Verde Incorporated DHS Region 1 FY26 Transportation Services Contract. Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax, SPLOST Intergovernmental Agreement. Resolution R-15-26, reimpose, levy, and collect SPLOST, call for referendum. Resolution R-16-26, Georgia County Intern Program Grant. Resolution R-17-26, Agriculture Rural Development Community Facilities Grant for the Ambulance Replacement Initiative and approving matching grant SPLOST expenditures of $391,974.51. Commissioners acknowledge an RFP will be issued on February 9th, 2026 through March 30th, 26 regarding emergency medical services agreement. And resolution R-18-26 extending additional 90 days for the moratorium on solar permitting. That concludes the consent agenda items.
Okay, is there any discussion regarding the items listed on the consent agenda as presented by the clerk? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented by Mrs. Knott.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion and a second. I will now poll each commissioner to have their vote recorded. Dr. Pullen?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Yep.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. The motion is passed by unanimous vote. I'm not aware of a need for executive session tonight. Have a happy President's Day coming up Monday week, I think. And adjournment, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right,
Second.
we're adjourned.
And we need to recommend to the Bank of Dade, they give Audrey Clark a raise for staying here the entire time. There you go.
Second motion.